Chapter 2557. Seeing Lin Xian's body tremble, Zhang Ji revealed a disdainful sneer in the distance. Kid, did you see that? I've only activated my bloodline power, and you're already trembling. What else do you have to fight against me? A mortal like you can't even withstand a single blow from my war tribe's bloodline. Now, kneel down obediently and accept your death. Zhang Ji's voice was cold. In the distance, Zhongzhou's twin kings, Tai dynasty, and Five Elements Palace all smiled sinisterly. It seemed that there was no suspense in this battle. This was because they had never seen Lin Xian use his bloodline power before. Thinking about it, he shouldn't have any powerful bloodline. In that case, he wouldn't be able to fight against the war tribe's bloodline power. Bloodline power? It was indeed very powerful. Lin Xian said in a deep voice, "But you don't have anything to be proud of. This bloodline power was passed down to you by your ancestors. Even if it's glorious, it's your ancestors' glory, not yours. I don't understand. What do you have to be proud of? Besides, do you think you're invincible just because you have the bloodline power? Today, I'll let you know that even without the bloodline power, I can still beat you up." The sword qi on Lin Xian's body became brighter and brighter. "Ignorant kid, you'll regret it soon." Zhang Ji's voice was cold. She didn't say anything else, and the blood-red light on her body became stronger and stronger. Mysterious runes revolved around her body. The aura on her body was much stronger than before. One could imagine that her strength had also increased by several times. Humph! Seeing this scene, Lin Xian made his move. He wouldn't let his opponent's strength continue to increase. Using the demigods and semi-devils, Lin Xian rushed forward like lightning. At the same time, he waved the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand and slashed forward. Boom! The sky trembled and exploded. Zhang Ji also made her move. She waved her halberd, drawing out streaks of golden light in the sky to block the opponent's sword qi. She couldn't get close. Kill! With a soft shout, the bloodline power on Zhang Ji's body became dazzling. Countless runes flickered, providing her with powerful strength. Boom! The heavenly halberd was swung, transforming into a terrifying golden demonic mountain that descended from the sky, causing the dragon origin sword to tremble continuously. How terrifying! Was this the power of the Battle Clan's bloodline? It was actually able to raise the opponent's combat strength to such a high level. The surrounding cultivators were all trembling in fear. Even Yi Wudao, Wu Hua, and the others wore dignified expressions. This Zhang Ji was definitely a super strong opponent. If they were to encounter him, they would probably have to go all out to deal with him. This combat concubine was too powerful. That brat might not be able to resist her. Indeed, he was too arrogant. He had underestimated the power of his bloodline. This was especially true for the war race, a race that had been passed down since ancient times. His strength and foundation were absolutely terrifying. Furthermore, from the looks of it, this war concubine's bloodline power was extremely pure. Likely, it was rare even in the war race. Sounds of discussion rang out one after another. The majority of the people were talking about the Battle Clan's bloodline power. Older brother Xian, Lin Xian Gij. In the distance on the other side, Murong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu were also extremely nervous. Murong Qingcheng's body flickered with light as countless petals danced in the air. A green lotus platform revolved beneath her feet. There were also mysterious crimson runes on her body. It was obvious that Murong Qingcheng had also activated her bloodline power. On the other side, Shen Jingqiu was the same. However, both of them were extremely nervous. In fact, they couldn't help but want to make a move. The Crimson Dragon said solemnly, "Don't worry, just watch the battle quietly. That brat won't lose so easily." Indeed, among these people, Murong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu weren't the ones who understood Lin Xian's strength the most. It was the Crimson Dragon who had grown up with Lin Xian. Therefore, the Crimson Dragon was the least of his worries. At the very least, he knew that Lin Xian wouldn't lose so easily. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Lin Xian was pushed back. The dragon source sword roared, his arms trembled, and the blood in his body surged. His body almost split open. How terrifying! Is this the bloodline power of the battle tribe? It's indeed powerful. His expression was extremely solemn as a trace of golden light appeared in his eyes. At the same time, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared continuously. He's indeed a powerful opponent. However, this time, he should be able to make me go all out. Lin Xian felt his blood boiling. He wasn't afraid. Instead, he was excited. After all, it wasn't easy to find a powerful opponent and fight to your heart's content. Now, he had finally found one. Very good. The bloodline power of the battle tribe is very powerful. It's worth it for me to go all out. Lin Xian waved his arm and circulated the energy in his body to get rid of the numbness. At the same time, terrifying sword qi burst out from his body. His combat strength increased once again. A dragon-shaped shadow appeared on his body and roared. What? Hearing Lin Xian's words, the surrounding people were shocked. What did he mean by it was worth it for him to go all out? Could it be that he didn't use his full strength previously? How was that possible? No one believed it. They didn't believe it and thought that he was putting on a show. However, when they sensed that Lin Xian's sword qi had become stronger again, they were all stunned. Their bodies trembled as they knelt on the ground. His strength had actually increased. Damn it, how was that possible? Could it be that he really didn't use his full strength previously? I don't believe it. He didn't use his full strength, and he killed the Yin-Yang Saint? He defeated the twin kings of Middle State? Just what level had this brat's true strength reached? Screams rang out as everyone looked at Lin Xian as if they were looking at a supermonster. Zhang Ji also frowned. Lin Xian didn't run away in fear. Instead, he became more courageous and even said more arrogant words. Used his full strength? Humph! Don't try to be mysterious. You must have used a secret technique to burn your spiritual power or blood to temporarily obtain this powerful strength. That's an unorthodox technique that can temporarily increase one's strength. However, the aftereffects are huge. Compared to our bloodline power, it's a far cry. Zhang Ji's face was full of disdain. In her opinion, Lin Xian had used such a self-damaging method to increase his strength again. How could such a method be able to contend against the power of her bloodline? More importantly, her bloodline power had endless uses. It was definitely not something that Lin Xian could imagine. As expected, the void trembled. Countless blood-colored runes circled around Zhang Ji's body as if a blood-colored armor was draped over her body. The sky halberd in his hand seemed to be covered by a layer of blood-colored light. Kill! With a furious roar, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Everyone retreated again. The terrifying sky halberd was like a blood-colored dragon that charged toward Lin Xian. Roar! An earth-shattering dragon roar rang out. The 9 heavens and 10 lands shook. Countless sword qi intertwined to form a sword diagram that enveloped Lin Xian. A huge dragon-shaped shadow spread out from Lin Xian's body and enveloped him. Chapter 2558. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky piercer received a shock and even trembled before flying back with a bang. What? So powerful! Everyone was stunned as they looked at Lin Xian with their mouths agape. What was that? Dragon! Damn it! Why do I feel that the aura of the dragon on this kid is even stronger than those geniuses of the royal family? Damn it, could it be that he has the bloodline of the dragon? When this thought came out, it gave them a fright. Everyone hurriedly shook their heads. Don't joke around. How could he have the bloodline of the dragon race? That's right, the dragon is a legendary divine beast, and it's not certain if it exists. Indeed, the powerful beasts and mutants that have been discovered so far are all related to the dragon, or their descendants are related to the bloodline. But no one has ever seen a real dragon. Although this kid doesn't have the power of the bloodline, I think he should have something else. Otherwise, it's impossible for him to be so powerful. Sounds of discussion could be heard as the saints and experts in the surroundings discussed intensely. In the distance, the people of the Demon Imperial Palace were also extremely shocked. Many of them even trembled, and the blood in their bodies seemed to be condensed. Although they were all mutants and had the power of the bloodline, they usually roared in all directions. But now, they discovered that their bloodline power actually wanted to submit to the other party. What was going on? Could it be that the other party really had the bloodline of the dragon race? But the other party was clearly just a human. They couldn't understand. Hua Tiandu's face was also gloomy. He also activated his bloodline power to resist the pressure coming from the front. Yan Ruyu's eyes flickered as she looked forward. In front of her, there was a green lotus swaying gently, enveloping her. Kill. With a furious roar, Lin Xian attacked. Countless dragon-shaped sword chi wrapped around the ancient sword and slashed forward, directly shattering the void and destroying the blood-colored light. Boom. The Zhanji was blasted back, smashing through the void. However, the blood-colored patterns on her body became even more resplendent, releasing a terrifying pressure. In fact, countless blood-colored runes condensed behind her, forming a hazy blood-colored figure. The moment this figure appeared, it directly shattered the 9 heavens and 10 lands. A terrifying force surged over like thousands of waves. Bang, bang, bang. Many martial artists vomited blood as they were sent flying. Their faces were filled with horror. What was a blood-red figure? Bloodline atavism. Oh heavens! This war concubine is so terrifying to be able to achieve ancestral awakening. An elder screamed, Leaf Daudenier, No Flower Gusantom, and the others all wore grave expressions. They were all possessors of bloodline power. Naturally, they knew the use and origin of bloodline power. Bloodline atavism was an extremely frightening and terrifying thing. This meant that the other party either had extraordinary talent or was born with exceptionally pure bloodline power. Normally, only those of the direct bloodline would appear. Of course, the other branch bloodlines would also appear, but the chances were much lower than the direct bloodline. The other was the evolution of one's bloodline. In other words, he would not be able to reach ancestral awakening in the beginning and would only have ordinary bloodline power. However, by relying on various opportunities and their own strength, they were able to evolve their bloodline power and reach the level of ancestral awakening. Regardless of which it was, ancestral awakening was definitely an incredible thing. The so-called bloodline power was actually a type of inheritance. When the ancestor of a family reached a cultivation level that could pierce through the heavens and earth, he would change his body and blood, and then pass down this power through his descendants. Generally speaking, the stronger one was the more powerful the bloodline power passed down. However, as time passed, the effect of the power of the bloodline became lesser and lesser. However, if someone in the family broke through again and reached the level of a sage, the bloodline power could be strengthened again and continue to be passed down. Within the bloodline power, there were remnants of the ancestor's bloodline. If one used a special method to activate it, it could form a phantom that borrowed the ancestor's power. This was the origin of the blood-red figure behind the war concubine. This blood-red figure should be one of the ancestors of the war tribe. However, whether or not it was the first ancestor, they did not know. However, even if it wasn't the first ancestor, it should be an extremely terrifying existence. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to manifest. As expected, when the blood-red figure appeared, The expressions of everyone around changed. Even Lin Xian frowned. He felt a strong sense of danger. The threat that the blood-red figure posed to him was too great. Buzz. As soon as the blood-red figure appeared, he raised his hand and slapped out. The endless void shattered, and a blurry blood-red palm descended from the sky. Boom. The space in front of him instantly shattered. Lin Xian used the demigods and semi-devils and quickly dodged. The ancient Taoist robe on his body burned. At the same time, he crazily slashed out dozens of sword lights. However, he was still sent flying. In an instant, all of the sword chi was destroyed. Even the ancient Taoist robe was suppressed. Lin Xian vomited large mouthfuls of blood, and more than half of the bones in his body were broken. However, in the end, he managed to dodge and was not killed. He was injured. That kid was seriously injured. Countless people exclaimed, "Heavens, the blood-red figure was too terrifying." Lin Xian was so powerful that he could kill many saints, but he couldn't block a single palm from the blood-red figure. If it wasn't for the fact that the other party was fast enough, his body and soul would have been destroyed by that palm. At this moment, countless people looked at the blood-red figure and trembled. That's great. The people of the Tai dynasty and the Five Elements Palace laughed sinisterly. In the distance, the twin kings of Middle Ground also grinned, revealing a cruel smile. "Humph, kid, let's see how you die this time. Brother Lin is probably in danger," Yi Wudao also said in a deep voice. At the side, Wu Hua also had a serious expression. The Prince of Great Xia, the Alcade Saint, and the others were all paying close attention. Damn it, this time, even the Crimson Dragon was nervous. That was because the blood-red figure also gave him a great sense of danger. He had miscalculated. He didn't expect that the war concubine could reach the bloodline awakening realm. Not good. Brother Xian is injured. Morong Qingchen and Shen Jingqiu were also very nervous. At the side, Xing Tian roared in anger. His palm had already formed a seal. As long as the situation was not right, he would immediately use magic arsenal. He would use the best puppets to save Lin Xian. Cough, cough. In the sky, Lin Xian stopped and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. "Kid, do you see that? This is the difference between us. In front of the power of my bloodline, you can't resist at all. So, obediently kneel and accept your death. I can give you a quick death." The war concubine looked down at Lin Xian from above. Victory was already in her hands. Her opponent couldn't block the ancestor's phantom that she summoned. Not to mention her opponent, there were probably not many people present who could withstand it. Chapter 2559. Only people like Yi Wudao and Wu Hua, who could summon their ancestors' phantoms, could have a chance against her. However, that was only limited to Yi Wudao and a few others. As for the kid in front of her, let alone the phantoms of ancestors, he didn't even have the power of bloodline. How could he be her opponent? The Zhanji stretched out her jade-like finger and waved it in the air. "One move. I only need one move. I can kill you." A confident smile appeared on her beautiful face. "One move." Hearing this, everyone's eyelids twitched. The Zhanji was too confident, but she did have the qualifications to be so. Their gazes turned to Lin Xian once again. That brat was most likely going to die this time. There was no other way. There was always a higher mountain. Who asked this kid to be so arrogant before? Now that he had offended the battle tribe, he was probably going to be killed. This was even better. On the road to becoming a great emperor, there would be one less powerful opponent. Humph, I've said it before. A genius who doesn't grow up is nothing. Even if this kid was talented and powerful, no one would remember him after his body and soul were destroyed. Many young geniuses sneered because they were jealous of Lin Xian. Moreover, they didn't have the strength to defeat Lin Xian. Therefore, when they saw someone who could injure Lin Xian, they naturally laughed sinisterly. Ah, Pui, shameless guy. Ben Huang will spit on you to death. Insidious ants like you dare to say that you can step on the road to becoming a great emperor? Look in the mirror. Do you have the qualifications? Damn snake. What did you say? The young geniuses were furious. A snake dared to look down on them? The Crimson Dragon sneered. What did I say? I said you were trash. Trash. If you really think you're a genius and want to walk the road to becoming a great emperor, then go and fight Lin Xian now. You don't even have the guts to fight him. Don't you think it's ridiculous to talk about the road to becoming a great emperor? The young geniuses were so angry that they vomited blood. Indeed, they didn't dare to fight Lin Xian. However, they wouldn't allow a snake to look down on them. Therefore, among them, two figures sneered. Damn snake, I'll kill you today. The two of them charged towards the Crimson Dragon like ghosts. However, in an instant, they screamed and retreated. Half of their bodies were crushed by the dragon's claws. The Crimson Dragon tossed half of the corpse into its mouth and started munching. His gaze was like a blood-red arrow, piercing through all directions. I'll teach you a lesson. If you dare to provoke Ben Huang again, Ben Huang will eat you alive. Damn it, just you wait. Those young martial artists who had sneered earlier fled like stray dogs. They didn't dare to stay any longer. The others were also extremely shocked. Who would have thought that the snake would be so powerful? With just a raise of its hand, it had severely injured several young geniuses. His means were not any weaker than that of the saints. But so what? No matter how arrogant this snake was, that Lin Xian would not be able to escape death. This was certain. His fate had already been decided. In front of him, Lin Xian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, his eyes bursting with the light of zero strength. You want to kill me in one move? You're overconfident. Zhang Ji didn't say anything. She controlled the blood-red figure behind her again, and another blood-red palm pushed out. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked, destroying everything. Lin Xian spat out blood and flew backward again. His body, which had just recovered, was once again in tatters. This was when he used his maximum speed, and the ancient Taoist robe. If not for the ancient Taoist robe, his body would probably have been blasted into pieces. Whoosh! Lin Xian's body appeared in the distance. He kept panting, and his Taoist robe was dyed red with blood. However, his eyes were getting brighter and brighter. Kill me in one move? What a joke! After one move, I'm still alive and well. Don't you think that's very mocking? Lin Xian's voice sounded, shocking everyone. Zhang Ji's expression became extremely gloomy. Her opponent had actually dodged. This was really out of her expectations. Moreover, not only did he dodge, but he also mocked her. Zhang Ji's expression darkened, and her killing intent swept out like a storm. So what if he dodged? He was only relying on his strange speed. However, judging from the current situation, her opponent couldn't compete with her at all. He could only dodge passively. How many times could he use such speed? Even if he didn't die in 2 moves, he would probably die in the 3rd. Kid, I have to say that your strength has indeed exceeded my expectations. You can actually take 2 of my moves. However, you don't have to be arrogant. You're basically no different from death in your current situation. Do you think you can escape from my attack in the end? You'll just live a little longer. Everyone was silent. Indeed, they felt that Zhang Ji was right. Judging from the current situation, Lin Xian could only dodge, and he couldn't completely avoid it. After one move, he would be seriously injured. If Zhang Ji didn't have precious recovery treasures like the large drop of earth spirit liquid, he would probably be dead. Even if he didn't die, he would probably be half dead. Lin Xian didn't say anything. He flipped his palm and took out a jade gourd. He opened the cap and was about to swallow the earth spirit liquid to heal his body. However, at that moment he frowned. His figure swayed, and he dodged to the side. As soon as he moved, the void beside him exploded. Boundless demonic chi and golden light enveloped him. Although Lin Xian was seriously injured, his soul was not injured. Therefore, he sensed the danger in advance and dodged. However, at that moment, he was still seriously injured, so he couldn't completely dodge. Half of his body was swept away by the surging demonic chi, and he was sent flying. Damn it, what happened now? The shocking change stunned everyone on the spot. Die, kid. A sinister voice came from the front, causing everyone to come back to their senses. The Twin Kings. It was the Twin Kings of Middle Ground. He actually made a move at that moment. It seemed that he hated Zhang Ji to the core and wanted to kill him with his own hands. Exclamations of shock could be heard. That's right. The ones who made the move were none other than the Twin Kings of Middle Ground. Previously, they saw that Lin Xian was seriously injured twice, so they seized the opportunity to make a move before Lin Xian recovered. However, they had underestimated Lin Xian. They did not succeed in killing him in one blow. Kid, you can't escape. The Twin Kings of Middle Ground had a sinister expression. Although his origin was still injured and could not fully recover, he could still kill a seriously injured enemy with only 80% of his strength left. It was definitely a piece of cake. Bloodwing Bat King, kill him! Seeing the Twin Kings of Middle Ground charging at him again, Lin Xian roared angrily. Buzz, a blood-red figure appeared and charged at the Twin Kings of Middle Ground. An intense collision sounded, and the Twin Kings of Middle Ground were sent flying. The blood-winged Bat King spread its wings and charged over. Get lost, you damned beast! The Twin Kings of Middle Ground roared angrily. They brandished the death scythe and charged at the blood-winged Bat King. Chapter 2560. The Middle State Twin Kings roared furiously as they brandished their celestial treasure wheel and death scythe at the blood-winged Bat King. However, the blood-winged Bat King was a guardian of the ancient tomb and could not be killed in a short time. Instead, the Middle State Twin Kings were in danger. Buzz. Lin Xian took advantage of this moment to swallow the earth essence liquid. His damaged body and broken bones were all healed. It was useless. Zhang Ji looked at this scene and did not stop him. She looked at all this coldly, with disdain in her eyes. So what if he had recovered? Previously, he could not even block one of her palms when he was at full strength. Now that he had recovered, would he be able to block it? She did not think so. You have eaten so many treasures, so there must be a lot of energy left in your body. After I kill you, I will refine your body and refine all the energy for my use. Zhang Ji's voice was cold as she slowly raised her palm. Was it going to end? Everyone's hearts were in their mouths. Lin Xian would not be able to withstand the third palm strike. Lin Xian took a deep breath as a cold light burst out from his eyes. He formed a seal with his palms, and the sword chi on his body became more and more piercing. It formed a dragon-shaped sword shadow in front of him. As soon as the dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared, a dragon's roar and sword's cry rang out. In an instant, countless cracks appeared in the sky. Everyone's bodies trembled again as they kept retreating. Many people were pressed to the ground. Damn it, what was that? He still had a trump card. Even the saints and saintesses exclaimed in surprise. What a terrifying sword intent. This aura was not weaker than the blood-colored figure at all. Damn it, who said that this kid did not have a bloodline power? Screams rang out one after another. They now suspected that Lin Xian definitely had a type of bloodline power, and it was an extremely terrifying bloodline power. Otherwise, why would the dragon-shaped sword shadow be? The power of the dragon-shaped sword shadow was simply too terrifying. Even Zhang Ji frowned at the sight of it. She also felt a sense of threat that could threaten her life. She could not believe it. The opponent's sword intent was on par with her ancestor's shadow. How could this be? One must know that she possessed the bloodline of the war clan. The bloodlines of their war clan were all extremely powerful. They had only managed to form their bloodline power after tens of thousands of years of accumulation. What exactly was the dragon shadow in the other party's body? How could it be on par with his ancestor's shadow? She didn't know. She didn't believe it either. In the next moment, she said coldly, "Damned brat, no matter what you have, you will not be able to escape death today. Now, go to hell." Zhangji didn't want to drag this out any longer. She used all of her strength and struck out with her final palm. Wung. In the sky, the blood-red figure slowly raised his palm and slapped forward again. The power of this palm was even more terrifying. It was as if 100,000 seas of blood were surging in the sky. Nothing could resist it. Wung. Lin Xian also grasped the dragon-shaped sword. It was over. He swung his sword without holding back at all. The great dragon sword soul roared as it transformed into a 1,000 feet long divine dragon sword shadow, soaring through the sky. Boom, boom, boom. The two sides collided intensely, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. The 9 heavens and 10 lands were completely devoured. At this moment, everyone activated their defenses and resisted with all their might. They even used their trump cards. Otherwise, they might be killed by the aftermath of this energy. Between heaven and earth, the rumbling continued. Many people fled into the distance. Some even left the palace completely and ran into the passage to take refuge. Countless gazes looked at the sky. Although they couldn't see anything now, they still stared at it, unwilling to let it go. Finally, the smoke dissipated. Everything was revealed. It appeared. Look! Everyone held their breaths, but soon they were stunned. In the sky, the two figures' faces were incomparably pale without a trace of blood. However, upon closer inspection, they were completely different. Although Lin Xian's face was pale and his aura was chaotic, he still stood there. The dragon-shaped sword shadow in his hand was also constantly roaring. On the other side, Zhangji was different. The blood-red figure behind her gradually dissipated. In the end, it shattered into countless fragments and fused into her body. As for her, she vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Her body was slashed open, almost split into 2 halves. What? Zhangji was actually defeated. The bloodline phantom had been directly slain. How was that possible? Everyone was stunned and couldn't believe it. At this moment, the saints' and saintesses' minds went blank. Even Yi Wudao, Wu Hua, the Alcade sage, the great Xia prince, and the others were shocked. To be honest, they were all worried that Lin Xian might not be able to resist the ancestors' phantom. After all, they had a deep understanding of the ancestors' phantom. However, things went beyond their expectations. The one who was defeated was not Lin Xian, but Zhangji. Not only was Zhangji defeated, but she was also almost killed. Her bloodline phantom was directly shattered. Everyone looked at Lin Xian in horror. They stared at the dragon-shaped sword shadow in his hand, their hearts beating wildly. What was that dragon-shaped sword shadow? Why was it so powerful? Was it the power of the bloodline, or was it something else? Could it be something that belonged to a sage? They didn't know. They wanted to continue observing, but Lin Xian had already absorbed the dragon-shaped sword shadow into his body. He took a step forward and walked forward. In front of him, Zhangji was half kneeling on the ground, blood flowing from her body. She shook her head frantically. Impossible. Damn it, this is impossible. I can't be defeated. How could my ancestor's phantom be shattered? She had gone crazy. Originally, she was full of confidence and thought that she could easily kill her opponent. But now she had been defeated. She had been utterly defeated, and her bloodline phantom had been shattered. This caused her confidence and faith to shatter. She was on the verge of collapse. Because her opponent hadn't been lucky, he had completely defeated her in the area she was most confident in. There was nothing more despairing than this feeling. Thud, thud, thud. Lin Xian walked toward Zhang and said in a deep voice, "The war race's prodigy? Bloodline power? Ancestor phantom? I told you, you can't kill me with this." As he spoke, Lin Xian had already arrived in front of Zhang Ji. Zhang Ji raised her head and looked at him with a ferocious expression. "Damn brat, I don't believe it. I was careless this time. Next time, I will definitely kill you with my own hands. Next time?" Lin Xian sneered. "Do you think there will be a next time? Do you think I will let you go?" "What?" Zhang Ji's pupils constricted. "You dare to kill me? I am the war race's prodigy," she screamed crazily. Lin Xian sneered in disdain. Was the war race's prodigy very powerful? Wasn't the Golden Lion King the war race's prodigy? Didn't I kill him all the same? Chapter 2561. Since I've already killed a prodigy of the war race and completely offended them. So, what if I kill another one? Speaking of this, Lin Xian's body emitted a terrifying killing intent, causing everyone's bodies to tremble. They were terrified. This was too arrogant and powerful. He actually wanted to kill a prodigy of the war race. However, it made sense. The other party was already at the point where he would fight to the death with the war race. If they didn't kill him now, would they wait for him to return and recover? If it were them, they would probably kill him now. "No, you can't kill me." Zhang Ji was finally afraid. She knew that the person in front of her couldn't be threatened at all. The other party wasn't afraid of the war race at all. She quickly said, "Let me go, let me go. After I return, I will definitely plead for you. Let the war race stop chasing you. How about we exchange conditions?" "No need. Just let the war race come and kill me. I want to see if you can kill me or not." Lin Xian shook his head decisively. What a joke. He wasn't a fool. How could he be fooled by the other party's stalling tactic? He wouldn't let the tiger return to the mountain. Buzz. Lin Xian slowly raised the Dragon Abyss ancient sword. "What last words do you have?" "No. Damn it. You can't do this." Zhang Ji screamed crazily. However, the ancient sword slashed down mercilessly. Zhang Ji retreated crazily. At the same time, she shouted, "Save me. As long as you save me, the war race will be endlessly grateful and give you a great opportunity." When these words came out, many people were tempted. For someone like Zhang Ji, who had bloodline awakened, she was definitely an important figure of the war race. If they saved her, they would be able to obtain a favor from the war race. With the strength of the war race, this favor was definitely heavy. But now, saving her was a huge risk, because it might directly arouse Lin Xian's killing intent. They didn't have the confidence to fight against Lin Xian. After all, the terrifying ancestor's phantom was destroyed by the other party. Ordinary methods couldn't contend against the other party at all. Pooh! Just as they were hesitating, Lin Xian's Dragon Abyss ancient sword had already slashed down mercilessly. With a poochie sound, the war concubine's body split in half. Blood turned into a sea of blood that surged in the surroundings. It was a kill. Everyone who saw this scene felt their scalps go numb. The other party was too decisive, not giving them any chance to hesitate at all. However, the war concubine was the war race's heaven's pride. She was extremely powerful. Even though her body was split in half, she was still alive. She brought the sea of blood that filled the sky, and the two corpses converged. Soon, her body reassembled. However, his face had become even paler, like a sheet of white paper. She kept panting as she stared viciously at Lin Xian. "Damned brat, I will remember this sword. I will definitely return it. She turned around and fled. Humph! Lin Xian sneered. Stay here. The azure dragon hand reached out and enveloped the entire area. Wang! At the same time, the dragon-shaped sword shadow flew out again, and streaks of dragon-shaped sword chi surged out. The other party definitely had a lot of secret techniques. Ordinary sword chi would probably not be able to kill him completely. It seemed like he still had to use the dragon-shaped sword energy. Sure enough, once the great dragon sword soul appeared, it had the power to destroy everything, causing the war concubine's wounds to be unable to heal in a short period of time. She screamed in fright and used her trump cards crazily. However, all of them were sent flying by the dragon-shaped sword shadow. Finally, another sword slash cut her in half. This time, the war concubine's body could not reassemble at all. The two bodies floated, but she still did not die. Her soul was still intact. Her soul wrapped around the two parts of the corpse and fled in the sky. Fellow Taoists, I will definitely be extremely grateful for saving my life. The peerless powerhouses of my war race are already on their way. As long as we can block him for a while, when the powerhouses of my war race arrive, they will definitely kill him. What? The powerhouses of the war race are here. When these words came out, everyone's eyelids twitched wildly. A war race's heaven's pride was already so powerful. How terrifying would the true powerhouses of the war race be? Thinking of this, the people of Tai Dynasty, 5 Elements Palace, 10,000 Thunder Sacred Land, and the others all moved. They originally had a grudge with Lin Xian. Now that they had saved the war concubine, they could ally with the war race and kill him together. Courting death, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He opened the jade gourd and swallowed 2 large drops of spirit liquid again. His strength recovered. At the same time, 3 large drops of spirit liquid floated out and landed on his body, repairing the wounds on his body. Lin Xian quickly recovered. He waved his long sword and sent all the people who had rushed over to help flying. Those who were weak were directly killed with a single slash. Those elders who were stronger were also sent flying while vomiting blood. For a moment, no one dared to approach. With the strength of a single person, he was killing in all directions. This scene was indeed shocking to everyone. The war concubine was killed to the point where she had nowhere to go. Her trump cards were all destroyed. It seemed that she could no longer resist. However, at this moment, rumbling sounds came from afar. Immediately after, countless powerful auras appeared and quickly spread out from the passage. What was going on? Everyone was horrified when they felt this enormous power. This power was too powerful. It was enough to destroy everyone here. Could it be that something had happened in this ancient tomb? Had a powerful formation awakened? Everyone was terrified. However, someone carefully sensed it and screamed, "Elder! It's our elder who's back." It seemed that they had successfully resisted the Big Dipper coffin. As soon as this was said, everyone sensed it. Sure enough, they sensed the auras of their elders. Immediately, they cried out in alarm and heaved a sigh of relief. Great, this ancient tomb was extremely dangerous. Although they were outstanding prodigies, they were still too young. With the elders around, it would be much safer. Among them, the people of 9 Firmaments Divine Emperor, Myriad Thunder Sacred Land, 5 Elements Palace, and Tai Dynasty screamed crazily, "Elders, come and save us." They had to join forces and save the war concubine. Who dares to attack us? An angry roar sounded. Those elders roared again and again. They thought that something had happened, but before they could arrive, their souls had already investigated. Their gazes were like lightning, piercing through all directions. They saw the situation in the main hall clearly. When they saw the war concubine, they were also extremely surprised. The people of the war tribe had also come. However, when they saw the entire scene clearly, they were indeed stunned. The prodigies of the war tribe were being hunted down. Heavens, who was this? Did they not want to live anymore? Damn it. It was that kid again. The elders of Five Elements Palace, Tai Dynasty, and Myriad Thunder's sacred land gnashed their teeth. They discovered that the person who was chasing after the war concubine was none other than Lin Xian. Sensing this matter, everyone frowned. The Yi family and Gu family were also extremely surprised. In a mortal palace, Elder Li and the others also had their eyelids twitching. Chapter 2562. The palace master was too heaven-defying. He even dared to kill a prodigy of the war tribe. Attack! The elders of the Tai Dynasty and the Five Elements Palace roared and increased their speed. They had to save Zhang Ji. Not good. Hurry up! Elder Li and the others also increased their speed. These elders were all peerless powerhouses. They flew at full speed and arrived at the main hall in the blink of an eye. In an instant, countless energy blasted into the sky, blasting away the sword Qi that filled the sky. They firmly protected Zhang Ji. Damn brat! How dare he kill a prodigy of the war tribe? Kneel down and accept your death. You won't live. Cold shouts came one after another. Elder Li and the others instantly returned to Lin Xian's side and activated magic arsenal. Countless top-notch puppets protected Lin Xian as well. Great, they were saved. Zhang Ji was relieved to be protected by so many people. Her body temporarily fused together. However, if one looked closely, there was a small sword mark in the middle that could not be completely fused. In other words, she was very weak now. Although she was not dead, she did not have much fighting strength left. It was already good that she could survive. When they returned to the war tribe, they would ask their elders to destroy the sword Qi. Only then would she be able to recover. She stared at Lin Xian. She swore that when she returned, she would definitely take revenge. She wanted to capture him and let him taste the feeling of living a life worse than death. No one could provoke her, and no one could provoke the war tribe. Thank you, fellow Taoists and seniors, for your help. Our war clan will remember this favor. Zhang Ji hurriedly said. Now that the elders of the sacred grounds were her support, she had to rope them in. Hearing Zhang Ji's words, the elders of the sacred grounds breathed a sigh of relief. They also hoped to join forces with the war tribe. Therefore, both sides had reached a consensus. Do you think you can save her? Seeing this, Lin Xian's lips curled up and he sneered. The surrounding people frowned. What could it be that this brat wanted to start a war with so many sacred grounds? This was not a battle between the younger generation. With so many elders, even if the other party had so many puppets, if they were to fight, it would probably not be enough. After all, no matter how powerful Immortal Palace was, it was still only a Holy Land level power. Meanwhile, the other side had 5 or 6 Holy Lands joining hands. The gap between them was too obvious. Hearing this, Zhang Ji's heart skipped a beat. The other party's confidence made her feel scared. The elders of the Holy Lands had gloomy expressions. They whispered to Zhang Ji, "Don't worry with us here. That kid won't hurt you." Then they looked up into the distance and stared at Lin Xian. "Brat, you're too arrogant and reckless. Who do you think you are? You want to hurt someone in our hands? How naive." "I reckon even your Immortal Palace's elders don't have this kind of ability, not to mention a brat like you. Is that so? You can try." Lin Xian sneered. He quickly formed a seal with his palms, and a golden light flashed in his eyes. Wang! The void trembled as a pair of golden eyes appeared in the sky, looking down with incomparable coldness, as if they were the eyes of a god. Crack! Being looked down by these eyes, the martial artists below trembled and felt their scalps go numb. Even the holy sons and holy daughters felt their hearts skip a beat. It was as if everything about them had been seen through by this pair of mysterious eyes. The elders of 5 Elements Palace and 10,000 Thunder Holy Land also had gloomy expressions. They stared up and shouted coldly, "Not good. It's that kid's eye technique. It's a soul attack. Everyone, defend. We can't let him succeed." These people were extremely nervous. They knew that Lin Xian had an extremely terrifying eye technique and soul attack that was impossible to guard against. They had to be careful. Boom, boom, boom. These Holy Land elders were rich and had many trump cards. In an instant, they took out one soul defensive treasure after another and floated in the sky. They enveloped them and completely protected Zhangji. Zhangji also took out an ancient mirror and floated above her head. She sneered. "I thought it was some special method, but it turns out to be a soul attack. Useless brat. You can't break through so many soul defensive treasures. If it was any other attack or a dragon-shaped sword shadow, Zhangji might be afraid. However, she wasn't afraid of a soul attack. Buzz. Lin Xian didn't say anything. He waved his hand and launched a soul attack. In the sky, the cold ice spun rapidly. Golden runes flickered and jumped. A terrifying power surged out between heaven and earth. When the surrounding martial artists felt this power, their expressions changed, and they all retreated. They also took out treasures to defend their souls. As for the area where the elders were protecting Zhangji, it was completely broken. The sky trembled as the soul defensive treasures trembled. Clearly, they had suffered a powerful soul attack. Crack, crack, crack. In an instant, 3 treasures cracked from the middle and fell to the ground. Seeing this scene, the elders were shocked. What a powerful and terrifying soul attack. Indeed, the other party's soul attack was too powerful. Even Zhangji was alarmed. But so what? This time, with so many elders working together, it was impossible for the other party to break through the defense. Sure enough, after another 3 treasures were broken, they were finally able to resist. Ha ha, ha ha. The elders all laughed. "Kid, your methods are only SOSO. What other trump cards do you have? Go ahead and use them." The elders all sneered. Zhangji heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian saw this scene and wasn't surprised. After all, there were so many of them. It would be strange if he could really break through. He said in a deep voice, "I don't know what you old guys have to be proud of. You have more than a dozen elders, yet you don't have the confidence to resist my soul attack? Or are you afraid of my soul attack from the bottom of your hearts? It seems that you elders are only SOSO. I think that in a one-on-one battle, I can instantly kill your souls." "Nonsense. Bullshit. How dare you? Kid, you are too arrogant." The elders all roared. They should have been happy that they had blocked Lin Xian's soul attack. However, being mocked by the other party made them so angry that they vomited blood. The others were shocked. Thinking about it, it made sense. More than a dozen elders had used so many treasures to block the other party's soul attack. Moreover, 6 of the treasures had been broken. If it was a one-on-one battle, the elders probably wouldn't be able to resist. "Ignore this kid. Our goal is to protect Zhangji. Everything else has nothing to do with us," the elder of the Tai Yi dynasty said in a deep voice. The elders of the other holy lands also calmed down. They took a deep breath, and a cold light bloomed in their eyes. "Humph! Let this kid be proud for a while. When the war tribes experts come, we will kill him." Chapter 2563. "Kid, what other tricks do you have? Use them. I want to see how you'll kill in our hands." In the distance, the elders of the sacred grounds sneered. A scream suddenly sounded, causing everyone's scalps to go numb. "Damn it, who's screaming?" These people looked around. thinking that something had happened in the ancient tomb. But soon, they were stunned, because they found out the scream came from the sky. Moreover, it came from behind the elders of the sacred grounds. Behind those elders was the war concubine. Why was she screaming? What happened? No one knew. They hurriedly looked over. Those elders were also stunned. The smiles on their faces froze. They suddenly turned around, their eyes like divine rainbows. Damn it, how did the other party do it? They hurriedly investigated, and then gasped. The war concubine was surrounded by so many elders, but she was still rolling on the ground and screaming. Black bugs were crawling all over her body. What are those? Get lost! The elder of the Tai dynasty snorted coldly. With a wave of his palm, countless gusts of wind and light enveloped the bugs, wanting to blast them away. However, the bugs did not move at all. They did not dodge at all. Instead, they drilled into the war concubine's body like crazy. They're fine? How is that possible? When the elders saw this scene, they were all stunned. They were peerless powerhouses. That attack would have split an ordinary mighty figure into pieces, but the bugs did not die. How is that possible? Oh no, it's those bugs. They're bugs made of dark night gold. In the distance, a young warrior exclaimed. They had seen Lin Xian use this method before. However, back then, Lin Xian had only used 5 bugs. Right now, there were probably over 100 of them. Where did the other party get so many black bugs? Oh no, damn it, how did this kid do it? These elders acted as if they had gone crazy and quickly attacked. They entered the war concubine's body, wanting to force the bugs out. At the same time, they protected the war concubine's soul to prevent her from being completely destroyed. However, they still underestimated the black bugs. These insects were very hard. Furthermore, they were refined by a saint. It was very strange. The moment it entered the Zhangji's body, it began to frantically destroy her life force. Soon, the Zhangji's body was completely shattered. As for the Zhangji, she simply did not have the ability to recover. Blood dyed the sky red, dripping down, directly shattering the void, countless cracks appearing. This was blood that contained the power of the bloodline. It was extremely terrifying. When the bugs crawled towards Zhangji's head, Zhangji could not help but scream. A blood-red rune appeared between her eyebrows, and a violent force rushed out. With a bang, all the insects were sent flying. Not only that, but the elders guarding Zhangji were also sent flying. A few of them who were close by had half of their bodies blasted into a bloody mist. The remaining ones also coughed out mouthfuls of blood as they looked ahead in terror. The Zhangji's body cracked open, leaving only her head intact. At that moment, a figure appeared above her head. An incomparably radiant figure. Was this the phantom of the ancestors? Everyone exclaimed. An elder shook his head. No, it was not the power of the bloodline. It was a soul imprint left in the Zhangji's body by an expert of the war tribe. It should have been used to protect the Zhangji's life at the most critical moment. After all, a peerless genius like the Zhangji had the atavistic bloodline. The expert of the war tribe definitely had a way to prevent her from being killed. The Yi family's elder also had a solemn expression, looking at the aura of the imprint. It should have been left behind by an invincible king. An invincible king. Everyone was shocked. In the era where saints did not appear, no one was a match for an invincible king. The elders of the Tai dynasty and the 5 Elements Palace were quickly covered by the light and then recovered. Although they were angry before, when they saw the invincible king imprint, they all heaved a sigh of relief. Great, even without their protection, the Zhangji should be fine. The Zhangji also heaved a sigh of relief. She had finally triggered the last defense in her body. However, the last defense was also the most powerful one. Once this phantom appeared, No one present would be able to threaten her. Thinking of this, she turned her head and stared at Lin Xian. Brat, you caused me to be so seriously injured. I will definitely tear you into pieces. Elder, kill him. You must kill him. The Zhan Ji screamed, crazily. In the sky, the blurry figure silently turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. Immediately, Lin Xian's body tensed up. He felt the surrounding air condense, as if a pair of invisible hands were crushing him. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. The sword and dragon roar in his body sounded, completely destroying the pressure. He looked at the sky and frowned. He did not expect that there would be such a thing in the Zhanji's body. You dare to harm a genius of the war tribe? Die! The blurry figure's voice was cold. With a point of his finger, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. This finger was too shocking. It was enough to kill a peerless powerhouse. Lin Xian's pupils constricted, and he instantly disappeared on the spot. This time, the speed was too fast, and it had locked onto him. Even if he changed his position, he would not be able to dodge. Humph! Xing Tian roared angrily. He opened his mouth and spat out a hammer that swept forward. Boom! The light emitted from it struck the terrifying finger light and sent it flying. Bang! 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 The void rumbled continuously. A part of the sky was completely destroyed. Everyone was shocked. Firstly, the mysterious figure's strength was too strong, making them unable to resist. Secondly, they were even more shocked by Immortal Palace. Immortal Palace actually had a way to resist. What did the other party use? Young master, are you all right? Xing Tian stood out. There was a glowing hammer on his head that kept rising and falling. He asked with concern. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief and shook his head. Elder Li and the others also walked up. Palace master, leave the rest to us. All right. Lin Xian nodded and retreated. Indeed, the strength of an invincible king had already exceeded his current range. He would leave it to Xing Tian and the others to deal with. Damn it, how was this possible? The Zhanji looked at this scene with a face full of disappointment. She originally thought that she could kill the other party with this attack, but she did not expect the other party to escape again. The other elders were also shocked. They stared at the hammer above Xing Tian's head. In the sky. The blurry figure was also surprised. He did not expect that someone could block his attack. Buzz. He also lowered his head and looked at Xing Tian. When he saw the hammer above Xing Tian's head, he cried out in surprise. Sky Splitter Hammer. No, it should be a replica. I didn't expect you to have such a treasure. Chapter 2564. However, you are too weak. If it was an invincible king holding it, it might be a threat to me. But you are not qualified. The blurry silhouette was extremely confident. He looked around disdainfully. Although it was only a wisp of remnant soul imprint, it was still left behind by an invincible king. It could definitely crush any peerless almighty. Now, you can die. The blurry silhouette pointed its finger again. Soul-destroying finger. With a point of finger, both body and soul were destroyed. Seeing the other party attack again, Xing Tian roared angrily and used all his strength to activate the sky-splitting hammer above his head to collide with it. Although the sky-splitting hammer was not big, each strike was incomparably powerful. Bang, bang, bang. An intense collision sounded, and the last finger light shattered. However, Xing Tian also retreated. The blood in his body churned, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. But this was already very shocking. One had to know that that was the imprint of an invincible king. It could easily kill a peerless almighty. However, the other party was actually able to block it. It was indeed shocking. The hazy and blurry figure was also an accident. This time, his face completely darkened. With a palm strike, everything was destroyed. This time, Xing Tian really couldn't fight back. Buzz, elderly at the side, made his move. With a wave of his hand, he took out a golden decree and quickly opened it. Buzz, buzz. When the golden decree was opened by a third, countless runes quickly flickered, turning into a light sword in the sky and slashing out. Boom! The terrifying palm was sent flying. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Countless large cracks spread out. The surrounding people were also sent flying. Damn it, what was this thing? It was actually so terrifying. It actually sent the palm of the light figure flying. These people were all crazy. The elders were also shocked. Zhang also did not dare to believe it. What was the origin of this immortal palace? How could it contend against the powerhouses of their war race? It was just the imprint of an invincible king. What was there to be arrogant about? Even if it was a true invincible king, we would dare to kill him. Elder Li's voice was cold. He opened the golden decree again. When he opened it halfway, runes flashed in the sky, forming a sharp light. When this light appeared, everyone's hearts jumped, and they all felt the threat of death. Even the people from the Yi clan, the Gu clan, and the Wavering Light Sacred Land were the same. It was as if they were facing a great enemy. But fortunately, this light was not directed at them. An earth-shattering sound rang out, accompanied by angry roars. This voice was formed by the silhouette of the invincible king. It was obvious that he had also suffered a violent impact. Ah, damn it. You actually dared to kill my clone. Just you wait. I will never forgive you. If you dare to kill my battle clan's people, no one in this world will forgive you. A cold voice rang out as the hazy silhouette completely disappeared into the void. He disappeared. Could it be that he was killed? Everyone was shocked, not daring to believe it. Even the clone imprint of an unmatched king was killed. This immortal palace was just too terrifying, right? The Zhangji began to tremble. Her face was filled with despair, and her eyes had lost their luster. Her final trump card had also been destroyed by her opponent. Could it be that she was really going to die here today? Wong. Sure enough, Lin Xian raised his hand and flicked out a sharp sword wave, directly blasting apart the Zhangji's final head. Bloody mist filled the sky. The Zhangji's soul was also blasted apart. This time, she was completely killed. Everyone was completely stunned. They did not expect that after the 5 elements Saint Sun, 10,000 Thunder Saint Sun, and 9 Firmament Saint Sun, another exceptional genius would be killed. Moreover, this person's identity was even more terrifying. It was the Battle Clan's genius. This was definitely a huge shock. The Battle Clan would definitely not let Lin Xian and Immortal Palace's people go. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. He did not care at all. This was not the first time he killed the Battle Clan's genius. He had long had an irreconcilable hatred with the Battle Clan, so killing another one now was not a big deal. In the next moment, he stared at the elders of Tai Dynasty and 5 Elements Palace and asked coldly, "What? You want to attack again?" Those elders' eyelids twitched crazily as they quickly retreated. Everyone was stunned by this scene. A young man scared so many elders away with a single sentence. If they did not see it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. Those elders retreated to the back and stopped. Their faces were incomparably gloomy, although they were furious and wanted to chop the kid in front of them into 8 pieces. However, they could not do it at all. The other party actually had a killing weapon that could instantly kill an invincible king's clone. This made their hair stand on end. Seeing those elders retreat and not dare to fight again, Lin Xian sneered. He raised his head and stared at the sky again. In the distance, the Bloodwing Bat King was fighting with the Middle Ground Twin Kings. The Middle Ground Twin Kings were about to cry. He did not expect the Zhangji to be killed. Even the Invincible King's clone imprint was destroyed. Especially now, when he felt Lin Xian's gaze on him again, he was scared, out of his wits. Ah, He roared angrily and directly burned his power. He quickly escaped. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian waved his sword, and a huge sword light enveloped the middle ground twin kings. Pooh! The other party screamed miserably, leaving behind a trail of blood. Ah! The middle ground twin king's body was split in half. This time, the good and evil were really split in half. This scene caused everyone to be alarmed. The middle ground twin kings screamed crazily. He did not stop, nor did he fight back. Instead, he used his secret technique without caring about the consequences. He disappeared into the sky. Humph! Lin Xian did not chase after him. The sword just now contained the power of the great dragon sword soul. That sword chi was not easy to erase. It was likely that the other party would not be able to recover in a short period of time. Moreover, the twin kings of the central prefecture were no longer a threat to him. There was no need for him to kill the other party with great fanfare. It was better to explore this strange ancient tomb first. He had a feeling that the ancient tomb below and the ancient tomb above were different. It seemed to be two tombs, but he was not sure. Seeing that the battle had ended, the elders of the Yi family and Gu family gathered together and began to discuss, although they had just arrived here. They also frowned according to the young warrior's description. Are you saying that there are many things of the monster clan in this ancient tomb? The ancient tomb of the monster clan? How is that possible? After hearing this, the elders who came later frowned. Elder Li and the others' eyes flickered. The Crimson Dragon said, I heard that in the past the saint's ancient tomb would not be built. Some would even build many fake ancient tombs to confuse the later generations. The real tomb is hidden in a place that no one knows about. Do you think that the ancient tomb above is a fake one? The real ancient tomb is the one we're in now. If it weren't for a coincidence, I'm afraid that we wouldn't have been able to reach the bottom. Hearing the Crimson Dragon's words, many people were enlightened. Xing Tian, Elder Li, and the others nodded slightly. There was indeed such a saying. In ancient times, many people did this. However, there was one point that did not make sense. Why were the two tombs above and below completely different in style? One was a human, and the other was a monster. Was this the ancient tomb of the human clan or the monster clan? Chapter 2565. These people didn't know, so they decided to go together to investigate. After walking for about a day, they gradually slowed down. A cave appeared in front of them. It was surrounded by vines that were very thick like dragons. The leaves on them were incomparably green and shone with a cold light. Everyone, be careful. Seeing that it was no longer a palace, the elders hurriedly reminded them. Everyone put up their defenses and walked inside. The group entered the cave and found that there was a passage inside. They continued to walk forward. Not long after, a scream sounded. What's going on? Everyone turned around and found that the person was entangled by the vines. Damn it, there's something wrong with the vines. Seeing this scene, the surrounding cultivators roared and attacked the vines crazily. However, in the next moment, their attacks were pierced through, and everyone was entangled by the vines. Even Lin Xian and the others were entangled by the vines. Get lost! Yi Daodenier roared and punched the vines, causing countless cracks to appear. However, the vines didn't break and still firmly entangled Yi Daodenier. It can't be, right? What is this valiant vine? How can they withstand the attack of a saint physique? Seeing this, Lin Xian frowned. With a wave of his finger, a biting cold sword light clashed with the vines around him. Clang, clang, clang. Sparks flew from the vines. However, only faint white marks were left. They weren't cut off at all. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian gasped. How is this possible? How terrifying is his sword chi? It can even kill a peerless almighty. However, The vines were unharmed. What the hell is this? Whoosh. Just as everyone was about to fight back, the vines moved. They pulled Lin Xian, Yi Dao Denier, Morong Qingcheng, and the others forward quickly. Bang, bang. Everyone slammed into the wall, and the ground, their blood boiling. Fortunately, they had put up their armor. Otherwise, some of them would have been blown apart. The people from Fei Imperial Palace were also affected. This shocked the powerhouses of Fei Imperial Palace. Damn it. The purple cloud vine. Wasn't this supposed to be extinct? How could it appear here? The purple cloud demonic vine was an extremely terrifying vine. Aside from its powerful defense, what was even more terrifying was that it could absorb energy limitlessly, enough to turn thousands of miles of land into ashes. These demonic vines, as a mutated species of heaven and earth, were rare to begin with. Once in ancient times, there was a demonic soaring calamity that caused countless countries to be annihilated. Finally, the supreme experts were enraged. They joined forces and finally killed all of the demonic vines. From then on, there was no more purple cloud demonic vine in the true spirit world. Who would have thought that the purple cloud demonic vine would appear in this tomb? Furthermore, looking at how hard it was, who knew how many years it had been growing? But I'm afraid it's already grown. Damn it. Is this purple cloud devil totem trying to suck us dry and turn us into its raw materials? The martial artists of the Demon Imperial Palace roared. When these words were spoken, everyone was alarmed. They had also heard of the legend of the purple cloud demonic vine, but they hadn't expected to see it in person. No, I have to fight back. Angry roars came one after another. Lin Xian and the rest fought back with all their might, preparing to chop off these demonic vines and escape. However, they chopped for a day and night, but they couldn't cut it off. And during this day and night, the purple cloud demonic vine pulled them and continued to move forward at lightning speed. During this period, many people were knocked unconscious. The remaining people were also dizzy, their blood roiling. Finally, after a day and night, the purple cloud demonic vine's speed slowed down. After about another half a day, everyone felt that they were completely pulled out of the passage. It was no longer dark before their eyes, but there was light, blinding everyone to the point that they couldn't open their eyes. Lin Xian and the rest felt their bodies become light, as if there was no ground below them anymore. They were hung in midair. Lin Xian opened his eyes, golden light revolving around his eyes. He saw the surrounding scenery clearly. This was an extremely huge cave. There were countless holes around it, all passageways. All of the passageways led inside. There was no way out. Could it be that this was the final burial place? Lin Xian was shocked. He looked up and found that there was a huge vine in the sky, covering the entire valley in all directions. It was so tall that he couldn't see the top, as if there was no end. As for them, they were suspended in the air by these vines. The others also saw this scene and exclaimed in shock, "Heavens, such a huge purple cloud demonic vine. How many thousands of years did it grow?" They were going crazy. They had never seen such a huge demonic vine. Those from the Demon Imperial Palace were scared out of their wits. Hua Tiandu and Yan Ruyu both frowned. Purple cloud demonic vine. 3,000 years of seedling, 3,000 years of small maturity, and 3,000 years of major maturity. Even if it wasn't major maturity, it was at least 7,000 to 8,000 years old. Damn it. How could there be such a terrifying thing here? They were indeed shocked. Even invincible kings could only live for a few thousand years. Saints could live for a few thousand years. Emperors could live for 10 to 20,000 years at most. A 7,000 to 8,000-year-old demonic vine was definitely enough to shock these people. However, the elders from the sacred grounds started to frown. No way. This ancient tomb had existed for 30 to 40,000 years. How could it be that the purple cloud demonic vine had only grown for 7,000 to 8,000 years? The time didn't match? They were extremely confused. Perhaps there was only one explanation, and that was when the ancient tomb was formed, there was no purple cloud demonic vine. It was only in the last 7,000 to 8,000 years that the purple cloud demonic vine began to grow. Yen Ryu said in a low voice, "After all, the purple cloud demonic vine no longer existed in the true spirit world. It wasn't easy for this vine to grow. Perhaps everyone could accept this explanation. But who planted it? Why was it planted here? Was it to protect the ancient tomb? They didn't know. Look, there's someone there." One of them exclaimed and pointed below. Everyone looked over and exclaimed in surprise. It turned out that they were too focused on the purple cloud demonic vine and didn't see the two figures standing below. Although everyone was suspended in midair and unable to fly over, their souls were still probing downwards from all directions. In an instant, they found out who the two people were. From the looks of it, it was a man and a woman. The woman was dressed in white, her black hair reaching her waist, and her face was extremely beautiful. She stood there with her eyes closed, as if she was asleep. Beside her was a man in bronze armor. He looked valiant and extraordinary. However, he was wearing a bronze mask on his face. In his hand was a small bronze box, which he held tightly. Everyone carefully looked at the bronze man. They were startled, and many of them screamed. Lin Xian furrowed his brows. He discovered that the eyes of the man in bronze armor were actually open. A pair of jade-green eyes flickered with a cold light, as if watching Lin Xian and the others. Chapter 2566. The eyes of the man in bronze armor were actually open. A pair of green eyes flickered with a cold light, seemingly watching Lin Xian and the others. This gaze made people's hair stand on end, as if this bronze man was alive. Many people were so scared that they withdrew their souls. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He could feel that these two people were cold and had no soul fluctuations. Obviously, they had been dead for a long time. The other saints also discovered this scene. They heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they were already dead. If they were alive, they would probably be some powerful guardian. If they attacked them, it would be difficult for them to resist in their current state. No, they had to find a way to escape. Otherwise, they would end up very miserably. Many people's faces were gloomy. They found that not only were they hanging on the vines, but there were also some bones hanging on them. They were not even complete skeletons. Some only had a little left. Obviously, countless years ago, many people had come here, but they were all tightly entangled by these vines. Humph! Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a cold light. The great dragon sword soul roared, and a sharp sword light gushed out. This time, Lin Xian did not hold back. Clang! The sword slashed on it, making an earth-shattering sound. Boom! Finally, the vine wrapped around Lin Xian broke, and Lin Xian fell down. His figure flickered, and he appeared in the void. When the others saw this scene, they did not hold back and used their trump cards one after another. Those saints, saintesses, and elders all used their trump cards to leave. However, those ordinary disciples were not so lucky. They could not open it at all. Bang! A martial artist of the divine Wind Dynasty roared and directly slashed at his own leg. Bang! One of his legs exploded, and his body fell below. Soon, he hurriedly fled to a safe place. His body flickered with light again, and this time a new leg was formed. Although this method was self-mutilating and cruel to oneself, it was their only chance to survive. With this method, a broken leg could be recovered in an instant. Therefore, when the others saw this scene, they followed suit. In the sky, countless bloody mists surged. Everyone had left the purple cloud demonic soaring. Everyone looked at the purple cloud demonic soar with lingering fear. They were only escaping from the binding of the vines. The purple cloud demonic totem hadn't attacked them yet. Their endings would be even more tragic. The purple cloud demonic totem was growing here, and it seemed like this was the final resting place. An elder said in a deep voice. The others gasped. Could it be that the sage's body was buried here? They were so shocked that they didn't even dare to move around. They couldn't even defeat the corpses of invincible kings, let alone the corpses of saints. They probably wouldn't be able to withstand even a wisp of saint might. We don't need to touch the saint's body. Let's see if there are any treasures in other places. These people searched in all directions, but soon they frowned. The reason for that was because there was nothing there. It was inferior to the amount of treasures in the palaces they had encountered earlier. Previously, in the palaces, Lin Xian and the others had obtained a lot of treasures. There were tens of thousands of earth-grade artifacts, tens of thousands of bottles of pills, and mountains of materials. There were only so many things in the palaces. This made them think that the final resting place would be 10 times or 100 times richer than before. However, that was not the case in reality. The surroundings were empty. Other than the huge vines and endless caves, there was nothing else. If there was anything, it would be the two figures standing under the vines. However, these two people were obviously guardians, so they didn't dare to touch them. No, look at the bronze man. He's holding a bronze box in his hand. Could it be that there was some treasure in the box? Many people finally stared at the bronze box. Their eyes flickered, wanting to see it clearly. However, with their current strength, they couldn't see through it. There should be no doubt that it was a treasure. The final resting place definitely had treasures. Although there weren't many of them, perhaps one could compare to all of their previous gains. That was indeed the case. Treasures couldn't be judged by quantity. If there was a sage artifact inside, it would definitely be comparable to all the other treasures in the entire ancient tomb. After some discussion, everyone decided to make a move. Although they knew that it might be dangerous, they were already here. If they were to leave without giving it a try, these people would definitely not be willing. Wang, an elder of the Taishan Holy Land, made a move. His palm was incomparably blue, like a starry sky, enveloping the area below. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, he arrived above the bronze man's head. His large hand did not fall, but countless stars revolved around him, forming strands of light that hung downwards. It swept towards the bronze box in the bronze man's hand. Their goal was only the bronze treasure box. As for the other items, they would try their best not to touch them. Wang. All the light attacks disappeared as they neared the bronze treasure box, as if they were swallowed by a black hole, without a trace. Seeing this, the people of the Taishan Holy Land frowned. Let me do it. An elder of the Yin-Yang sect stepped forward. With a wave of his hand, the yin-yang diagram above his head flew out. Not only the yin-yang sect, but the 5 elemental palace, myriad thunder sacred ground, for symbols sacred ground, and Dian's sacred ground were also present. At this moment, all of the Holy Land families made their moves. After all, there was only one treasure box. It would belong to whoever managed to snatch it. Wang. All the attacks were blocked when they neared the bronze treasure box, as if there was an invisible force. Humph! You're already dead. And you still want to compete with us? The elder of the Yin-Yang sect sneered, and made his move again. The others did the same. On Lin Xian's side, elderly Xing Tian and the others also made their moves. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky full of light, 2 figures stood there, unaffected. At this moment, the man in the bronze armor suddenly raised his head. He slowly raised his head, and a cracking sound could be heard. Wang. A strange light burst out from his green eyes. Not good. Seeing this, everyone's hearts skipped a beat. How could the man's head move? Could it be that he was still alive and not dead? Just as this thought appeared in their minds, a terrifying light rushed out of the bronze man's body, turning into hundreds of sharp sword lights that pierced in all directions. Each ray of light turned into a sword light and combined with each other, forming a peerless killing formation. In an instant, the attacks in the sky were shattered, and these people were all sent flying. Many of them were directly pierced through and nailed to death in the void. Bang, bang, bang. Intense collisions sounded, and miserable screams were heard. The sky was filled with snow. Everyone's expression changed. Damn it, he was not dead. He was still alive. Chapter 2567. Impossible! How could he still be alive after tens of thousands of years? Even great emperors could not live for so long. He was definitely not alive. Perhaps he had been refined into a puppet, or perhaps there were other reasons. The elders of the Yi and Gu families had deep looks in their eyes. They did not believe that someone could live for so long. Crack, crack, crack. After the light burst out from his body, the bronze-armored man's body shook and crackled. Finally, he recovered. The green light in his eyes turned into hundreds of long rainbows that swept across the sky. Crack, crack. The bronze box in his hand was pressed against the armor in front of him, becoming one with the armor. It was stuck there. It seemed that if they did not defeat the bronze-armored man, it would be difficult to obtain the bronze box. Humph, it's just a puppet guardian. It's not like I haven't killed one before. The elder of the Dayan's sacred land shouted coldly. The elder of the Dao East sacred land also focused his gaze. At this moment, everyone's aura was majestic. Their opponent was just a bronze-armored man, and they had so many elders and peerless geniuses. Why would they be afraid of him? Kill. With a roar, everyone attacked like crazy. Runes appeared on the bronze-armored man's body one after another, instantly covering the entire space. The aura on his body also burst out suddenly, fighting against the energy that filled the sky. At this moment, he seemed to have transformed into a bronze god of war. Whoosh! His figure swayed, and the bronze-armored man flew into the sky. At the same time, his doppelgangers and afterimages appeared in the sky. These doppelgangers did not disappear. Instead, they let out a long roar and fought with the elders and saints. Damn it, there are so many doppelgangers. The expressions of the elders changed. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful. Combination formation. Don't be careless. Roars could be heard as the elders of the sacred lands formed their own powerful formations to defend against the doppelgangers. However, the top elders, saints, and saintesses were fighting on their own. They were powerful and did not fear the doppelgangers. Boom! Lin Xian swept his sword, and the three doppelgangers that were close to him were instantly killed. Boom! Boom! Murong Qingchen yelled as countless flower petals revolved around her. At the same time, she took out a fan that was as red as gold. With a light wave, the cry of a phoenix could be heard. A phoenix projection streaked across the sky, sending all of the clones flying. Phoenix wing-gilded fan. Many people in the surroundings exclaimed in surprise. This was the Jade Lake's most precious treasure, yet it was given to the Jade Lake Saint. Clang! A heaven-shaking, earth-shattering sound rang out, and Leaf Daudenier's body began to glow with golden light, making him look like a golden war god. A pair of fists opened and closed, sweeping in all directions with the power to swallow mountains and rivers. No flower pinched a seal with his fingers, and the Buddhist light behind him was equally powerful. The Yao Guang Saint, the prince of the great Xia dynasty, the Dao Yi Saint, and the saintess of all beginnings. At this moment, all the saints and saintesses displayed extremely powerful combat abilities and fought against the countless doppelgangers in the sky. In the end, all of the clones were destroyed. Humph, just a mere guardian. You want to stop our footsteps? What a joke! Kill him and snatch the bronze box. A group of people charged forward. Among them, the elders of the 5 Elemental Palace, the Yin-Yang sect, and the Myriad Calamity Hall were the fastest. They arrived beside the bronze man in an instant. Their hands carried supreme divine power as they grabbed the treasure box on the bronze armor. Crack, bang, ah, screams rang out as the elders of the 3 holy lands flew back. Their arms had been mercilessly torn off. Among them, the elder of the Yin-Yang sect was pierced by a palm, and a terrifying bloody hole appeared. All of his internal organs had been shattered. Ah, these people screamed and retreated madly. The others also stopped in midair and looked down in bewilderment. D****, this bronze guardian is too strong. Just as everyone was in shock, the bronze guardian in front of them emitted a strange light again. He stretched out his hand, and it instantly enlarged like a blue sky, covering the entire sky. Then it descended. The bronze hand was so big that it covered the sky and the sun. There was no way for anyone to escape. They could only resist crazily. Humph, you're courting death. How dare you fight against so many of us alone? Attack. The elder of the Yi family snorted coldly. The other party was powerful and stronger than them. No one was a match for him alone. However, with so many of them working together, the other party could not resist at all. The others also attacked crazily. However, vortexes appeared one after another on the bronze hand. There seemed to be strange runes flashing in the vortexes. Oh no! Damn it! What's going on? Screams rang out one after another. Lin Xian was also very surprised. Lin Xian's pupils constricted because he saw a terrifying scene. His body was actually gradually becoming smaller. Not only him, but everyone's bodies were shrinking. It was as if they were turning into ants. Damn it, what kind of divine power is this? They had never seen it before. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. Could it be an illusion? He suspected that it might be an illusion. He looked around and found that it was not an illusion. Their bodies had really shrunk. Ah, everyone screamed. They attacked crazily, shattering the void around them. However, they could not stop their bodies from shrinking. The giant green hand in the sky pressed down mercilessly. Oh no, their faces turned green. If they were hit by this palm, they would definitely be finished. Now, they had become infinitely small, and their strength was suppressed. Lin Xian roared furiously as well, his body rumbling and roaring nonstop. However, there was still a force blocking him. Damn it, could it be the power of the laws? Elder Li and the others were shocked, and their eyelids twitched. Xing Tian shook his head. Impossible! If the other party had the power of the laws, he could kill all of them in an instant. However, other than the power of the laws, I can't think of any other power that could be so powerful. I reckon that even an invincible king would not be able to cause such a change to us. The elders of the Yi family and Gu family also had ugly expressions. Yi Wudao, Gu Santong, and the others also had solemn expressions. It seemed that it should be the fragments of the laws. An elder of the Tao One Holy Ground said, in a deep voice, after all, he was the guardian of the saint's tomb. Perhaps some of the laws had been planted in his body. However, after experiencing the merciless passage of time, the laws had become fragments. That was why the situation was like this. Perhaps everyone analyzed the situation, but they were not relaxed. Although they knew what was going on, they could not resist. Elderly Xing Tian, transfer all of your power to me, Lin Xian suddenly said. He formed a seal with his palm, and the great dragon sword soul appeared in front of him. He grabbed it. Elderly Xing Tian and the others from the immortal palace quickly poured in their power. Boom, boom. The dragon-shaped sword shadow trembled and rumbled, turning into an azure dragon. It kept roaring and growing. Its power was also constantly rising. Chapter 2568. Ka, ka, ka. The light around them cracked, and their bodies no longer shrank. Seeing this, Elder Li and the others were overjoyed. It was effective. Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. As expected, the dragon sword soul was incomparably terrifying. It could destroy the power of the law fragment. However, with his current strength, he couldn't unleash the full power of the dragon sword soul. He could only borrow the power of others. Seeing this, Mu Rong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu also came over with people from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground and Purple Afterglow Sacred Ground. They also poured power into the dragon sword soul. On the other side, Yi Wudao took a deep breath and stood up. Everyone, please lend me a hand. At this point, he opened his golden domain. Light bloomed behind him, and a golden giant rapidly rose. It kept growing bigger, as if it was indomitable. Immortal King descends to the 9 heavens. It was an extremely terrifying divine ability of the Yi family. At this moment, Yi Wudao was displaying it. It was truly terrifying. However, although this divine ability was powerful, it still couldn't fight against the law fragment. He could only borrow the power of others. The Yi family, Gu family, Dao 1 Sacred Ground for symbols Sacred Ground, Dian Sacred Ground, and many other sacred grounds in the surroundings all used their power to support the Immortal King. The Immortal King's phantom became more and more solid. A terrifying battle armor even appeared on his body. The runes on it flickered with supreme power. Yan Ruyu also stood up. Her white clothes fluttered like a fairy. Buzz. Her body was also surrounded by a green light, but it was different from the bronze hand. A terrifying aura rushed out of her body, sweeping through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. This aura was extremely powerful, not at all weaker than Lin Xian's dragon sword soul, or Yi Wudao's Immortal King descends to the 9 heavens. When this scene appeared, everyone was extremely shocked. They didn't expect Yan Ruyu to be so terrifying and have such a secret in her body. Fellow Taoists of the human race, let's join forces. The green light on Yan Ruyu's body became more and more intense. When the people of the other sacred grounds and great sects saw this scene, they gritted their teeth and nodded. Indeed, now wasn't the time for internal strife. Many people of the sacred grounds and great sects also flew to Yan Ruyu's side and transmitted their power to her. Kill. With a roar, Lin Xian waved his long sword and slashed forward. The power of this sword was simply too strong. After all, it had gathered the power of countless experts. With a swing of the sword, the world lost its color, the sun and the moon lost their luster, and the entire void was split into 2. The strange energy around them was also torn apart. In an instant, the bodies of Lin Xian and the others continued to grow bigger, and the bronze hand even let out vibrating sounds. Kill. Leaf Dodenia roared. Then unleashed, the immortal monarch descends to the 9 heavens. That golden giant launched an attack, brandishing a terrifying fist, blasting apart the heavenly dome. Kill. Yan Ruyu tenderly shouted. Green light rushed out from her body, turning into a divine rainbow as she shot out. The 3 peerless geniuses had used their strongest trump cards and gathered the strength of all the great sects of the sacred lands. At that moment, their attacks were truly capable of destroying heaven and earth. Boom, boom. The sound of an intense collision rang out. The sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. Everyone's bodies returned to their original state. From the looks of it, the power brought about by the law fragment had been completely eliminated. Not only that, but the enormous bronze hand also shattered into pieces. Kill, kill, kill. Another 3 roars rang out. Lin Xian, Leaf Daudenier, and Yen Ryu once again attacked with all their might. This time, they charged towards the Bronze Guardian. Boom! A terrifying power erupted, drowning out everything. The entire world trembled. The purple cloud demonic vines constantly twisted and spun, protecting the space around them. When the smoke dissipated, Lin Xian's face was pale, while Leaf Daudenier and Yen Ryu were panting nonstop. This time, they had practically been drained of all the energy in their bodies. It wasn't just them. The elders, saints, and saintesses were the same. They didn't dare to hesitate and quickly took out their treasures. Lin Xian and the others also swallowed the Buddha Earth Spirit elixir to recover their strength. Fortunately, they had obtained a bountiful harvest in the ancient tomb. Therefore, at this moment, they didn't feel any heartache. After swallowing the treasures, their strength quickly recovered. At the same time, they turned their gazes and looked ahead. In front of him, the Bronze Guardian was still split into pieces. The armor on its body was shattered, and the bronze treasure box fell to the ground. Whoosh! When the Yin-Yang sect saw this, they quickly moved. The 4 symbols' sacred grounds didn't back down either. Scram! The 2 of them attacked in the air, tearing the void apart. Then, the 2 of them kept retreating, cracking the ground. When the others saw this, they also frowned. Seeing this, Lin Xian stood out and said coldly, "Let's stop fighting. Why don't we all open the box together?" Leaf Daudenier also stood out. "I agree with Brother Lin." Yen Ryu, Wu Hua, and the others also nodded. Seeing that the various geniuses had expressed their opinions, the others also fell silent. Indeed, if they continued fighting, rivers of blood would flow. Moreover, this place was extremely dangerous. The white-clothed woman beside them didn't seem to be hurt at all despite being surrounded by such terrifying energy. This shocked them greatly. Therefore, now wasn't the best time to fight. Everybody nodded. Among them, the elders of the Gu clan and the Yi clan, the 2 clans of the remote antiquity, walked out. They were prepared to go and retrieve the bronze treasure box. The 2 clans of the ancients were respected by the other sacred grounds in terms of strength, reputation, and foundation. Therefore, they didn't have any objections to letting the 2 clans of the ancients fight. Lin Xian also didn't have any objections. He knew that the Yi family and Gu family wouldn't take it for themselves. The elders of the Yi family and the Gu family walked forward. They carefully set up a seal and wrapped it around the bronze treasure box. They wanted to return. However, when they saw the bronze-armored guardian that had been torn to pieces, their pupils shrank. The 2 of them were stunned. What's going on? What happened? The others were puzzled. Many people walked forward. They also screamed. Whoosh! An elder of the Tao East sacred ground waved his sleeve and blew away the shattered bronze armor. Everyone saw the situation under the armor clearly. What's that? Everyone was shocked because they realized that the thing under the bronze armor wasn't a human. Instead, it was a furry monster with a tail. A demon beast. Everyone exclaimed. The people of the Fey Imperial Palace were even more shocked. It was a fox. Its entire body was green, and there were strange patterns on its fur. Its green eyes were wide open, gradually losing their luster and becoming cold. This guardian was a demon beast. This surprised everyone. Could this really be the ancient tomb of the Fey Imperial Palace? Hua Tiandu said with a serious expression. This seemed to be a green hill fox. This was also a mutated species of the world. Moreover, it was a very terrifying species of the fox clan. Indeed, the other Fey Imperial Palace's experts nodded. There were two royal families of the Fox clan, the Greenhill Fox and the Nine-Tailed Fox. They didn't expect this bronze guardian to be a Greenhill Fox. What was the treasure box it was guarding? Could it be a treasure of the Fey Imperial Palace? Chapter 2569. Everyone was puzzled. They looked to the side at the woman in white who was standing there like a statue. Who was this woman in white? Was she a human or a demon? If she was a demon, it meant that there was a high possibility that this was the ancient tomb of a demon saint. But what if she was a human? This made them even more puzzled. A human and a demon guarding this place. What was going on? Everyone couldn't understand. Forget it. Let's not think about it. Let's see what's inside the bronze treasure box first. The Yi family elder and the Gu family elder carefully took the bronze treasure box to the empty space at the side. Everyone gathered around and looked carefully. They opened it to take a look. Many people were tempted. The two elders used their power to forcefully open it, but they couldn't find the root. Let's increase our numbers. Everyone attacked together, but they couldn't break it either. The Crimson Dragon screamed, "Don't mess around. This thing might explode. If it does, all of us will be finished." Everyone's eyelids twitched when they heard that. No way. Don't talk nonsense. How could this thing explode? That's right. There must be a natural treasure inside. Voices of doubt sounded. However, the young disciples' faces were gloomy. "Elder, let's listen to it." This snake's attainments in formations were very high. They were the ones who discovered the ancient tomb below. It was also the one who broke it. The young disciples quickly transmitted their voices. After the elders of the sacred ground heard that, their eyelids twitched. They stared at the Crimson Dragon. The formation masters of the Gu family and the Yi family also walked out. They said in a deep voice, "That's right, we can't act rashly. The runes on it were very dangerous. If it was hit by a strong impact, it might explode. We can't imagine the energy it would release. What should we do?" Everyone was disappointed. The top formation master of the Yi family said, "This is normal. No matter how you look at it, there's a treasure buried inside." The previous owner wouldn't have let others open it so easily, nor would he have let others open it with brute force. However, since it was a treasure box, it could be opened if it could be closed. It was just that it would be more troublesome. There were many runes on it. It seemed to be a formation. As long as the formation was opened, the treasure box could be opened. "Rosalong, it's up to you." Lin Xian looked at the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon walked up. Come. Let's break it together." It waved its dragon claws, looking like a leader. Seeing this, the faces of many elders from the Holy Land darkened. They were extremely displeased, but there was nothing he could do about it. Since the other party was a formation expert, he had to listen to them. In the end, the Yi family, the Gu family, and the Crimson Dragon took the lead, along with the array masters from the other Holy Lands. 2 days later, they finally broke through the restrictions on the formation. Crack! A clear and melodious sound rang out as all of the symbols flickered. Everyone held their breaths. Was the treasure box finally going to be opened? What the hell? The Crimson Dragon screamed. Everyone was dumbfounded. F***CK, I've been tricked. Indeed. Everyone's faces were ugly because the light on the bronze box disappeared. The symbols quickly changed and finally formed a keyhole. F***CK. How many layers of seals did this thing have? The Crimson Dragon stomped its feet angrily. After 2 days of cracking, they had only broken the outermost layer of the seal, and the keyhole was just revealed. To open it, they needed a key. Where was the key? The surrounding martial artists raised their heads and looked around. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. It must be in this space, and it shouldn't be too far away. The 4 symbols saint frowned. Damn it, could it be that he didn't create a key at all? Why don't we bring it back and study it after leaving the ancient tomb? Many people from the Holy Land had the same idea. Indeed, they had come in large numbers this time, but it wasn't the full strength of the Holy Land. For example, the living fossil and the Supreme Elder didn't come. That kind of person was the scariest. They should have a way to break the bronze box. Crack, crack, crack. A low and deep voice rang out, reaching everyone's ears. Everyone turned their heads. Who was it? Get out here. Angry roars could be heard, but Lin Xian stared at the white figure in the distance. Damn it, it's another guardian. Whoosh. Hearing that, everyone turned their heads and stared at the white figure in the distance. Indeed, the voice came from the other party. The beautiful face of the other party slowly changed. Her small peach-like mouth slowly opened at this moment. With the previous experience of the Bronze Guardian, these people didn't dare to be careless. They reckoned that the other party might also have a law fragment. Therefore, in an instant, everyone activated their strongest defense and guarded carefully. Golden runes flashed in Lin Xian's eyes. He made the first move, but it didn't seem to be an attack. Kid, what exactly is it? Can you see it clearly? Many people asked anxiously. Lin Xian looked carefully and then said, It seems to be a key. Key? Are you sure it's a key? Everyone was shocked and excited because a possibility arose in their hearts. A keyhole had appeared in the bronze box in their hands, and they only lacked a key to open it. They searched everywhere but couldn't find it. However, the other guardian had a key. Could it be the key to open the bronze box? It was possible. That's right. It must be so. The young warriors exclaimed. 2 guardians, one holding a treasure box and the other holding a key. That was very reasonable. However, the elders were puzzled. Even if there was a key, why would she expose herself? She was clearly reminding them. Damn it, this was too strange. Could it be that the woman in white was also alive? As soon as those words came out, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. That's right. No one wanted their treasure to be taken away by others. Even those who were dead were no exception. But why would the woman in white take the initiative to hand over the key now? Was this a trap? They didn't know. Lin Gongzi, you're powerful and a top genius. Your soul power is even more terrifying, and you're proficient in formations. Why don't you go and take the key? A flirtatious voice sounded. Hearing those words, Lin Xian was very happy. Someone was actually flattering him in public, which made him feel very good. However, when he heard the last sentence, his face turned green. Damn it, which bastard dared to trick him at this time? His eyes were cold as he looked around. In the end, he locked onto a beauty from the Alcade Holy Land. Damn it, it's that Alcade Saintus again. Lin Xian's face was gloomy, and he gritted his teeth. Wasn't it just a little white monkey that ate some of your treasures? Did you have to hit him when he was down? The people from Immortal Palace also had ugly expressions. Murong Qingcheng and Shun Jingqiu frowned. Among them, Shun Jingqiu stared at the Alcade Saintus and snorted coldly. Damn it, this bad woman. This suggestion is not bad. I think Hall Masterlin is a young genius and can indeed take on this role. The Yin Yang Saint's voice sounded from the Yin Yang sect. Chapter 2570. He had almost been killed by the other party previously. Now that he had a chance to kill the other party, how could he let it go? Anyway, with so many powerful elders from the Yin Yang sect around, he was not afraid of the other party. F*CK. This Yin Yang saint is really courting death. The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. He wanted to go up and slap this guy to death. Hall Masterlin's battle strength is unparalleled. A cold voice came from the Tai dynasty. Hall Masterlin, don't back down. This matter belongs to none other than you. That's right, Hall Masterlin. Aren't you curious about what's inside the bronze box? Voices came one after another from the Five Elements Palace, the Thousand Thunders Sacred Ground, the Nine Heavens Sacred Ground, the Tuoba family, and the Nangong family. In short, all the families and sacred grounds that had a grudge against Lin Xian spoke up one after another. The other sacred grounds and sects did not speak up, but they chose to remain silent. Among them, Yi Wudao, Gu Santong, Wu Hua, and the others who were close to Lin Xian frowned. They said that this matter was too dangerous and could be a trap. They needed to think about it at length. Yes, they needed to think about it at length. Murong Qingcheng also spoke up quickly. She would not let Lin Xian take the risk. Fairy Murong, you're wrong. Hall Master Lin is so powerful. How could he be in danger? That's right. The memory of Hall Master Lin killing so many saints is still fresh in our minds. Now that we're missing the key, it should be easy. Those people were not moved at all. The cold voice and the silent consent of the others made the situation very unfavorable for Lin Xian. The people from the Immortal Palace looked gloomy. Xing Tian, elderly, and the others had murderous looks in their eyes. These people were too despicable. The Crimson Dragon jumped out. F***CK, you shameless people. What's wrong? You can't beat us. So, you want to use such a sinister method? You call yourselves geniuses and peerless elders of the sacred grounds. You've really embarrassed yourselves. We're not as good as Hall Master Lin. That's why we let him do such an important thing. The Yin Yang Saint sneered. The elders of the Five Elements Palace also looked ferocious. No matter what the other party said, they had to push him out today. The reason for that was because they knew that this was most likely a trap. It would be best if the law fragment could directly kill this brat, in order to relieve the hatred in their hearts. The Crimson Dragon was so angry that it stomped its feet and cursed loudly. However, at this moment, Lin Xian waved his hand and swept his gaze across the surroundings. It's not impossible for me to make a move. Everyone was stunned after hearing this. Their gazes shifted toward Lin Xian. Brat, are you crazy? Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon screamed. Palace Master, you can't. Xing Tian, elderly, and the others also tried to persuade him. Lin Xian Gij, older brother Xian. Murong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu's faces turned pale. Don't worry, I'm confident. Lin Xian turned his head and smiled at them before looking around. The others, on the other hand, were ecstatic. Many of them revealed ferocious expressions. Ha ha! This idiot brat is really arrogant. Does he really think that he can contend against the law fragment just because he killed a saint? Great! This time, we'll definitely be able to kill him. Lin Xian spoke again. I can go forward and take the bronze key. But, however what? An elder of the Nangong family asked. If the bronze box is opened, no matter what's inside, half of it must be given to the first immortal temple. What? We'll give you half. How is that possible? The others were going crazy. Their expressions instantly darkened as they shouted one by one. Brat, what a joke. You're too greedy. That's right. There are so many sacred grounds and sects here. How dare you ask for half of it? These people were very unhappy. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. Why? Does everyone disagree? Nonsense! Of course they don't agree. The Yin Yang Saint snorted coldly. Those from the Tai dynasty and the Five Elements Palace also had cold expressions. How could they agree to such a condition? Since they didn't agree, the negotiation had failed. Lin Xian shrugged. So, you can go forward and take the key yourselves. Poof. F***CK. These people were so angry that they vomited blood. Their expressions became incomparably ugly. The corners of the others' mouths twitched. No wonder this brat was so arrogant, daring to ask for half of the treasure. It turned out that he was waiting for them here. Brother Lin, you're really Yi Wudao. And the others shook their heads. On the other side, the people from Immortal Temple also breathed a sigh of relief. So that was their temple master's idea. However, Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingcheng were still a little worried. What if these people agreed? This white-clothed woman was obviously a protector. She was definitely not simple. The others were also discussing spiritedly. Although they didn't want to give half of the treasure to a mortal temple, they were even more unwilling to take the risk. That damn brat. How dare he ask for such an exorbitant price? He must have expected that we wouldn't dare to go forward. Those sacred grounds were all gnashing their teeth in anger. The Alcade Saintess also frowned. She didn't expect Lin Xian to have such an idea. Humph! She snorted coldly. These sacred grounds were too narrow-minded. So what if they gave him half of the treasure? Perhaps he would be killed before the bronze box was opened. Among them, there were some youths who thought that they were geniuses. They said, "Elder, why don't you let me try?" "Nonsense! What kind of place is this? Even I don't dare to go up. Do you want to die? Did you forget that you became small?" When these words were said, the young geniuses trembled, and fear appeared in their eyes. The bronze hand from before was like a nightmare, reminding them of it. These people quickly shook their heads and retreated. They might as well agree to this brat's request. After all, whether he could come back alive was another matter. Let's trick him first. I don't believe that he can fight against the law fragment alone. The elders of the sacred grounds quickly discussed. In the end, they decided to agree to this condition. Among them, the elder of the Yin Yang sect stood out. "Brat, as you wish. Half of the treasure in the bronze box will be given to a mortal temple. We'll split the rest." "Okay." Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. He took a step forward and walked forward. Brother Xian, big brother Lin Xian. Behind him, Murong Qingcheng, and the others were extremely nervous. "Don't worry, Qingcheng, Zhou, or I'll be fine." Lin Xian waved at them. Whoosh! Balls of flames appeared on his ancient Taoist robe and enveloped him. Lin Xian walked towards the white-clothed woman. Although he looked relaxed on the surface, Lin Xian did not dare to be careless. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared and filled every part of his body. It would emit an extremely sharp sword light at any time. Moreover, he had already summoned the sage's hand bone. As long as the situation was not right, he would immediately enter the black earth and activate the sage's hand bone. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Finally, Lin Xian arrived in front of the white-clothed woman. He slowly stretched out his fingers, which were covered with sword patterns and filled with the power of the great dragon sword soul. Lin Xian grabbed the bronze key in front of him. Chapter 2571. Whoosh! Crack! Suddenly, there was a flash of light. Lin Xian felt his hands being grabbed by his opponent. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they cried out in alarm and retreated at lightning speed. She moved. She really moved. Damn it, I told you that she was a guardian. Ha ha! That kid is definitely dead. He was caught at such a close distance. There was no way he could escape. The people from the Yin Yang sect, the Five Elements Palace, and the Tai dynasty laughed wildly. Temple Master, Brother Xian, Murong Qingcheng, Elder Li, and the others' expressions changed drastically. Terrifying rays of light surged from their bodies as they were about to rush over to help. "Don't come over. Retreat. I'm fine." Lin Xian's voice rang out. Murong Qingcheng and the others stopped in midair. "Brother Xian, are you really okay?" "I'm fine." Lin Xian shook his head. Although he was caught, the woman in white did not make any further moves. He believed that with his trump card he could break free. "All right, let's go back." The Crimson Dragon waved its claws. Although Murong Qingcheng and the others were unwilling, they still went back. They also retreated to a safe distance. On the other side, The people from the Tai dynasty laughed sinisterly. This kid is really arrogant. Does he really think he can fight against a guardian? It's better if he's arrogant. That way, he'll be easier to kill. We can also get our revenge. The others' eyes flickered. They did not believe that Lin Xian could resist a guardian. Yi Wudao Wu Hua and the others also frowned. They were also worried for Lin Xian. However, it seemed that Lin Xian was not in much danger. That was because the woman in white grabbed Lin Xian's hands tightly and did not make any further moves. To be honest, Lin Xian was also very nervous when the woman in white made her move. He almost summoned the sage's hand bone. However, he held back. He did not feel any killing intent from the woman in white. However, since he couldn't move his hands, he could only grab it with his sword chi. Sword chi gushed out from his body and turned into a huge palm. He grabbed forward, wanting to take the bronze key. However, in the next moment, the white-clothed woman opened her eyes. Wang, Lin Xian felt all the sword chi in his body being suppressed. The palm that shot out also disappeared in an instant. Damn it, what's going on? Cold sweat trickled down Lin Xian's forehead. His entire body strength had been sealed in an instant. The people behind him also exclaimed in surprise. It opened. The woman in white opened her eyes. Heavens, she was indeed alive. These people were terrified. The others thought that Lin Xian was dead for sure. So terrifying. What kind of power was this? Was this the power of a saint? Lin Xian didn't know, but he felt that this power was too strong. When will I be able to possess such power? Lin Xian was envious. Soon he came back to his senses. He knew that now was not the time to think about that. He had to think of a way to take the bronze key and leave safely. That was the most important thing. Although the sword chi in his body was suppressed, Lin Xian realized that he could still move. After thinking for a while, Lin Xian had a strange expression on his face. In the end, he gritted his teeth and stretched his head forward slowly. He opened his mouth, as if he wanted to kiss the woman in white. However, he bit the bronze key with his teeth. The people behind him were also stunned when they saw that. No way. Is that kid possessed? How dare he take advantage of the woman in white? Isn't he afraid of being smashed into a bloody mist? Idiot kid. Sounds of discussion could be heard. Morong Qingcheng and Shin Jingqiu were also dazed, but they soon realized what was going on. Older brother Xian is retrieving the bronze key. He's using his mouth to retrieve the bronze key? What a joke! No one believed it. The Alcade Holy Maiden also snorted softly. But soon, these people were stunned. That was because they realized that Lin Xianxian had returned again. They could not see clearly whether he had obtained the bronze key or not. However, the white-clothed woman slowly closed her eyes. He also retracted his hands. Whoosh! Lin Xian returned to the back. Did he get it? Damn it, that kid is safe and sound. How is that possible? Everyone was going crazy. The people from Immortal Palace, on the other hand, heaved a sigh of relief. That's great. Shin Jingqiu also clapped her hands and cheered. Buzz. Suddenly, the sky was torn apart, and a hazy figure appeared in the void. He raised his hand and threw a palm at Lin Xian. Oh no! The people from Immortal Palace changed their expressions. The people from the other sacred grounds were also surprised. They did not expect that someone would attack Lin Xian at this time. Who is it? Yin Yang sect? Tai dynasty? Or the people from Five Elements Palace? No one knew, and they did not have time to investigate. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. Who would dare to attack me at this time? How reckless! Whoosh! He swam in the air like a divine dragon swinging its tail, narrowly avoiding the palm. He snorted coldly and was about to counterattack. However, the person in the sky took out a purple gourd. Buzz. Countless rays of light bloomed. The purple gourd sprinkled down thousands of rays of light, enveloping Lin Xian. In an instant, Lin Xian was sucked into the gourd. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The hazy figure turned into a ray of light and flew into the distance. Damn it, he took the bronze key. Chase him. The people from the Dayan's sacred ground roared. Elderly Xing Tian and the others went crazy. They soared into the sky. The others were also dumbfounded. What's going on? Is the other party's target the bronze key? Bang! An earth-shattering sound rang out. Everyone raised their heads and looked into the distance. The person who had escaped was sent flying. The purple gourd was torn into pieces. Lin Xian's sword light shot out from the gourd. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 13 rays of piercing sword light formed a row and slashed at the hazy figure. The figure used a divine ability to block the attack. However, he could not block it at all and was killed in the end. Whoosh! The light in the sky dimmed. Lin Xian's expression was cold. He wanted to see which sacred ground dared to attack him. Lin Xian was stunned. The others were also stunned. After the hazy figure was slashed apart, there was no blood and no corpse. Instead, it turned into endless spirit qi and disappeared into the void. It's not the real body. It's a clone. Lin Xian frowned. The others were also puzzled. The people from the Immortal Hall walked up and protected Lin Xian. At the same time, they looked behind them. They stared at the people from the Tai dynasty and the Yin-Yang sect. Damn it, who did it? The others also looked over. The people from the Tai dynasty and the Yin-Yang sect's faces darkened. Humph! Why are you looking at us? We didn't do it. Who else would attack our temple master other than you? Peacock Lung, Hui Dao, and the others looked gloomy. Chapter 2572. Kid, you have to have evidence before you speak. An elder from the 10,000 Thunder sacred ground gritted his teeth. They didn't dare to admit it, nor did they want to take the blame. That was because they weren't the ones who sent the clone. They didn't dare to provoke the other party now. They didn't dare to start a fight with the other party. Therefore, they quickly explained. Do you have any clues about the purple gourd and the divine ability that person said he used? Lin Xian asked in a deep voice. Every sacred ground's secret techniques and treasures were different, so it should be easy to identify them. However, Xing Tian, Elderly, and the others shook their heads. They couldn't tell. The other party obviously didn't use any of their martial arts. They had never seen his palm technique and the gourd before. It seemed that the other party had planned this for a long time and would definitely not expose his true identity. Humph! Lin Xian's eyes flickered. You better not let me find out who did it. Otherwise, I'll let him know what regret is. After saying this, he took a deep breath and waved his hand. All right, let's put this matter aside for now. Let's open the bronze box first. Hearing this, everyone took a deep breath. The most crucial moment had arrived. What treasure was inside the bronze box? Was it a sage's treasure? They didn't know, but they were extremely excited. Lin Xian handed the key to the Yi family's elder. The elder nodded and didn't refuse. Then the group of people retreated. They put on their armor and activated their king's domains to defend themselves. After all, no one knew what was inside. The Yi family's elder took a deep breath, and golden patterns appeared on his body. He was a peerless almighty and had the bloodline of a Tharch. At this moment, his defense was incomparably terrifying. On the side, an elder from the Gu family also floated in the air. His body emitted a terrifying void energy. If there was any danger, he would instantly transfer the bronze box into the void. Ka, ka, ka. A low sound rang out as the key slowly turned. The bronze box also made cracking sounds. Then, the bronze box slowly cracked open. There wasn't any terrifying aura inside, nor was there any terrifying light. This caused everyone to be stunned. When they looked carefully, the bronze box was completely open. Two things fell out. One was a fist-sized treasure seal. It was square and had mysterious runes engraved on it. Above the seal, there was a malevolent head that made one's heart tremble. The other one was a rolled-up bee skin. These two items were simple and unadorned, lying there quietly. What are these two things? No one knew. The crimson dragon waved its claws and grabbed the animal skin. Ha! Like we said before, our immortal palace wants half. It just happens to be two things. The beast's skin is ours. Here's a jade seal. You can divide it among yourselves. F asterisk asterisk K. Damn snake, hand it over. Those people went crazy and screamed like crazy. To be honest, even Elder Li, Elder Zhang, Xingtian, and the others from Immortal Palace were stunned. They did not expect the Crimson Dragon to act so quickly. A smile appeared on Lin Xian's face, as expected of his old partner. Sure enough, he understood his intentions. The people from the Yin-Yang sect roared. Lin Xian sneered. Why? They had agreed on the conditions before, and now they want to go back on their word? It wouldn't be good if word got out that the sacred lands went back on their word. Who would cooperate with you in the future? You? Hearing this, the elders of the Tai dynasty and the Yin-Yang sect were so angry that they vomited blood. They trembled and almost fainted from anger. How hateful! But there was nothing they could do. They had indeed agreed before. If they went back on their word now, their reputation would be tarnished, and very few people would dare to cooperate with them. Therefore, they could only suffer this loss themselves. The other sacred lands were also envious. Damn it, if they knew there was no danger, they would have taken the key themselves. That was because they did not discover any danger during the entire process. It was just a false alarm that made them regret it very much. However, it was useless to regret it. Lin Xian took the bee's skin and threw it into the black earth. Don't think about getting back what you put in, unless someone could blast open the black earth. However, even an invincible king would not be able to blast it open. All right, you guys can study this Yushi yourselves. Immortal Palace will not interfere. Lin Xian shrugged. Xingtian, Elderly, and the others also smiled. They had obtained a complete one of the two items. This was definitely a great harvest. Everyone, let's study this jade seal first. What exactly is it? Yi family's Elder Zhang said in a deep voice. He was also very envious and curious about Lin Xian's bee skin. However, it was not a good time to ask now. It was better to wait until they left the tomb and let Yi Wudao ask. Yi Wudao and Lin Xian had a good relationship, so he should be able to ask what the bee skin was. At least let them know that it was a cultivation technique. A map? Or was it some ancient secret? The rest of the people studied the jade seal. Even Morong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu brought people over. However, at that moment, the Yushi suddenly bloomed with countless rays of light that pierced in all directions. Cries of alarm sounded one after another, and blood flowed out. Damn it! These people roared furiously, attacking madly, blasting apart the heaven and earth in front of them. Lin Xian also stood up and furrowed his brows. His eyes were like lightning as he stared ahead. Morong Qingcheng and Shen Jingqiu were also there. Qingcheng, Qiu, are you all right? Lin Xian asked. Shen Jingqiu and Morong Qingcheng were escorted out by the elders of the two holy lands. Their expressions were grave. They were fine. They were just scratched. Morong Qingcheng shook her head. She had a small cut on her arm. Shen Jingqiu also had a cut on her hand, and a few drops of blood flowed out. On the other side, Yi Wudao, Wu Hua, and the Grand Xia Prince all retreated. Among them, many of them had suffered cuts and bruises. Lin Xian was shocked. Xingtian, Crimson Dragon, and the others also cried out in surprise. Even Yi Wudao had been injured. That shouldn't be possible. They knew how powerful the Saint Physique was It was an existence that could catch a heaven-tier treasure with its bare hands. There was no need for them to explain how powerful its body was. Moreover, the people from the Demon Imperial Palace were all injured. Even Yen Ryu had a scratch on her body. It had to be said that the previous attack was too strange. What exactly was that Imperial Jade Seal? The cultivators from the Immortal Palace heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Lord Long didn't take the Imperial Jade Seal. Otherwise, they would be the ones injured. That was too terrifying. They felt a lingering fear. The Crimson Dragon frowned. "Kid, you have to be careful with that beast skin when the time comes. I feel that it's very strange." Lin Xian nodded and sent a voice transmission to Hey Tuesday. Hey Tu directly sealed the beast skin in the Black Earth ship. Lin Xian's brows twitched. He suddenly turned around and found a strange problem. Chapter 2573. Lin Xian's eyebrows twitched. He suddenly turned around and found a strange problem. "Rizalong, something's not right. Look at those injured people. Aren't they the ones who were chased by the Bloodwing Bat King, Yi Wudao, Wu Hua, Gu Santong, the two girls, and the prince of the great Xia dynasty? They all have the power of bloodlines, and their bloodlines are very powerful." "That's right. Those ordinary disciples aren't injured. Damn it, the Imperial Jade Seal is attacking people with bloodlines again." Lin Xian hurriedly said his guess. The saints and elders of the other sacred grounds frowned when they heard it. Bloodline power. It's bloodline power again. Previously, the Bloodwing Bat King was chasing people with bloodlines. Now, the Imperial Jade Seal was attacking people with bloodlines. What's going on? Generally speaking, people with bloodlines were peerless geniuses. It's normal for them to be attacked. Some elders guessed. Someone exclaimed, "Look, the blood in the sky." Everyone looked up. They saw that the blood in the sky didn't fall to the ground. Instead, it quickly entered the Imperial Jade Seal, as if it was attracted. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The Imperial Jade Seal absorbed all kinds of bloodlines and emitted light. The entire Imperial Jade Seal turned from white jade to blood jade. Whoosh. Finally, it floated in the sky and spun nonstop. Streaks of blood-red light accompanied the patterns on it and floated out. It emitted a strange aura. No way. What is this Imperial Jade Seal made of? There were so many violent attacks, but it didn't break at all. Someone screamed. The others also came back to their senses. Indeed, when they were attacked, the elders fought back with all their might. Logically speaking, a heaven-grade artifact should have been shattered. However, there wasn't a single crack on the Imperial Jade Seal. Needless to say, this must be a heaven-defying treasure. However, this treasure was beyond their expectations. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the sky, the blood-red light became stronger and stronger. The power it emitted became more and more terrifying. Suddenly, with a tremor, the Imperial Jade Seal flew to the side. The void collapsed in an instant, giving everyone a fright. The warriors in that direction hurriedly fled. However, what made everyone heave a sigh of relief was that the Imperial Jade Seal did not continue to attack these martial artists. Instead, it directly flew towards the huge purple cloud demonic vine in front of them. Buzz, boom. In the next moment, the blood-red Imperial Jade Seal slammed into the purple cloud demonic soaring. The purple cloud demonic vine trembled. Countless vines swayed, and the entire space shook as if it would collapse at any moment. Ka, ka, ka. What happened this time? Everyone was startled. They saw that below the purple cloud demonic vine, the huge branch suddenly split open from the middle. It was as if it was torn apart by a pair of invisible hands. A huge monster was pushed out from the crack. Rumble. The void was shattered. What is this? Purple cloud soaring. Everyone was shocked. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. His eyes flashed. He discovered that what came out of the crack was actually the purple cloud deviltum. Merely, this purple cloud demonic vine was clearly even more ancient. Furthermore, it was shaped into a coffin made of purple cloud devil vine. Looking at the appearance of this purple cloud demonic vine, it should be from tens of thousands of years ago. Who could be so generous? The purple cloud demonic vine was not an ordinary plant. It was a mutated plant. The one in front of them was alive and had a cultivation of 7,000 to 8,000 years. It was at least an invincible king. And the one that was made into an official coffin was very likely at the level of a saint. But now, the corpse of a demonic beast saint had been made into a coffin. How could they not be shocked? Perhaps only an even more powerful saint would be able to do such a thing. Thinking of this, they gasped, and their eyes burned with passion. As expected, this was the final burial place. The new purple cloud demonic vine coffin was very likely the owner of this ancient tomb. For a moment, everyone was on guard. They watched carefully. Roughly half of the purple cloud demonic vine coffin came out before it stopped. In fact, the crowd could see that there were actually 8 chains surrounding the purple cloud demonic vine coffin. Each of them was as thick as an arm. The chains were dark green in color and were engraved with runes. They gave off a feeling as heavy as a mountain. They firmly locked the purple cloud demonic vine coffin. What was going on? What was going on? Everyone was puzzled. It was one thing for the coffin to be special, but why were there 8 chains locking it? Was it trapped here? Or was there some other explanation? Everyone knew that ancient tombs contain feng shui and spirit veins. It was very mysterious, and they could not completely understand it. Therefore, in their opinion, the 8 chains were very likely some kind of saying used to remove some kind of flaw. After waiting for a long time, the purple cloud demonic vine coffin completely quieted down. Everyone looked at each other. Should they go up and take a look? There shouldn't be any danger. Everyone was very curious. After all, this was the first time they had seen the tomb of a saint. A few daring people went up to take a closer look. There was no danger. That made everyone feel even more relieved. Therefore, everyone also went up and led the people from the immortal palace. However, they did not get too close. The Gu family, Yi family, Morong Qingcheng, and the others were even more so. After all, they were attacked and even injured earlier. Therefore, they were very careful now. When they got closer, they realized that there were runes carved on the purple cloud demonic vine coffin. They were very mysterious and densely packed, covering the entire coffin. Even the elders of the clan of the ancients and the sacred land could not recognize those runes. The Crimson Dragon looked at it for a long time and then said, "I only recognize one word. The word at the front is blood. I don't know anything else." Blood. Lin Xian frowned. He had a feeling that this ancient tomb seemed to be targeting people with bloodline power. Should we open it and take a look? Someone suggested. As soon as those words came out, many people were shocked. Do you have a death wish? Do you dare to open the tomb of a saint? That's right. We probably don't have the strength to open it even if we want to. If we open it and find that it's the corpse of a saint, we'll all be finished. Those elders quickly shook their heads. What a joke. They were also tempted. They knew that there must be a shocking treasure in the coffin. However, they did not dare to open it at all. Of course, they did not dare to open it, but it did not mean that they would give up on the ancient tomb. They had already investigated it. They decided to hurry back and inform the living fossils and the grand elders of the sacred land to bring the supreme divine weapons and attack it. Bang, bang, bang. Just as they were about to leave this place, a deep voice suddenly sounded. Everyone turned around. What was going on? What happened? Who was behind it? No, it wasn't us. Where did that voice come from? Damn it. Why do I feel that the coffin moved? What? Don't talk nonsense. Everyone had been frightened by the Big Dipper coffin before. Any one of the things that came out of the coffin could defeat everyone. Now, it was the coffin of a saint. If something came out of it, it would kill all of them in one move. Chapter 2574. That was the coffin of a sage. If it walked out, it would kill them all in one move. Bang, bang, bang. This time, the sound was even more intense. Everyone could clearly feel that the vibration came from the purple cloud demonic vine coffin. Furthermore, they could even see that the entire coffin was trembling slightly. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Many people were so scared that they wet their pants. Damn, that coffin had actually mutated. Could it be that it had turned into a corpse? They frantically retreated, wanting to escape. However, they were all surrounded by the vines of the purple cloud demonic vine. They couldn't escape at all. Moreover, what shocked them even more was the purple cloud demonic vine coffin behind them opened with a bang. Countless rays of light shone, and terrifying energy rushed out. The scalps of the people below went numb, and many of them directly fell to the ground. Ancient sage, we didn't mean to offend you. Please let us go. We won't dare to come again. Many people begged for mercy. However, there were also some people who turned their heads abruptly, and Lin Xianlin was one of them. Lin Xian looked back and was stunned. In the next moment, the azure dragon claw grabbed forward. Ha ha ha! We're rich! The dark red dragon also waved its dragon claw. The others, including Yi Wudao and the prince of the Great Xia dynasty, also made a move. Seeing this scene, the people who were originally afraid turned around. They found that the purple cloud demonic vine coffin had indeed opened. However, no corpse came out. There was actually a coffin inside. Moreover, the gap between the large coffin and the small coffin was filled with divine crystals. Each of them was the size of a fist, colorful, and contained terrifying energy. Those were divine crystals which were incomparably precious outside. At this moment, they filled the entire space. Attack. The others also roared. All the sacred lands madly attacked. Of course, they also knew their limits. They didn't dare to touch the small coffin inside. Although it was called a small coffin, it was only slightly smaller than the purple cloud demonic vine. The large one was dozens of meters in size. The small one was more than 20 meters in size. In an instant, all the divine crystals between the two coffins were snatched away. There were more than 1,000 divine crystals here. Lin Xian and the others were the first to make a move, so they snatched the most. The others more or less got a share. On Lin Xian's side, he had snatched nearly 200 pills. The lowest number of people only managed to snatch a dozen, while the majority only managed to snatch dozens. Compared to Lin Xian, there was still a huge gap. Therefore, many people looked at Lin Xian with red eyes. They couldn't help but want to kill him for his treasures. However, when they thought of Lin Xian and Immortal Palace's strength, they all clenched their teeth and gave up. There was nothing they could do. They couldn't win. As for the other aristocratic families like the Yi clan and the Grand Xia Empire, they didn't dare to provoke them either. Damn it, I actually missed such a good opportunity. No, the next opportunity must not be missed. They gritted their teeth and fixed their gazes on the second coffin inside the coffin. Don't move. This coffin might really contain the corpse of a saint, the Crimson Dragon warned. Hearing this, everyone's eyelids twitched. The elders of the remote antiquity families all stood out. The people of the 4 great dynasties also frowned. Yan Ruyu and the others from the Monster Imperial Palace put away the divine crystals they had snatched. Their eyes also flickered. Triple immortal suppressing coffin. Yan Ryu opened her red lips. Triple immortal suppressing coffin? What's that? The young warriors were very confused, but the elders of the remote antiquity families and the four great dynasties narrowed their eyes. Ancient sects like the Yin sect and the Tao East Sacred Ground also frowned. Could it be that legend? Heavens! Is there really someone who wants to do this? How is that possible? Exclamations were heard one after another. Lin Xian was very confused. Legend? What legend? Triple immortal suppressing coffin. What exactly is it? He also didn't know about this ancient legend. Triple immortal suppressing coffin was a very ancient burial method according to legend. There were a total of 3 coffins, big and small, and the outermost one buried the corpse. Each coffin was made of extremely precious metal or wood. A large amount of energy and vitality would be placed between each coffin to preserve the corpse. Moreover, the coffins were buried in places with extremely rich spirit veins. It was even said that very mysterious Tao patterns were engraved on them, but we don't know the details. We only know that the triple immortal suppressing coffin had a special effect after being buried. It was said that it was possible to bring the dead back to life. It could be said that it was a very magical and strange burial method. What? Bring the dead back to life? Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked and gasped. How is that possible? Even the great emperors couldn't bring the dead back to life. Not to mention the others. The palace master was just a legend. As for whether someone had really come back to life, there had never been any records of it in history. Moreover, very few great emperors used triple immortal suppressing coffins. There seemed to be some taboo. He didn't expect to find triple immortal suppressing coffins in the saint's ancient tomb. Kid, don't worry about it. It's just an ancient legend. It's impossible to bring the dead back to life. The Crimson Dragon shook his head. He didn't believe in such a legend, and so did the others. Although they felt that the triple immortal suppressing coffins were extremely strange, they wouldn't believe in such a magical thing like coming back to life. However, the Crimson Dragon swallowed his saliva. If the first coffin was covered with divine crystals, what would the second coffin be made of? It was probably worth far more than divine crystals. If they could open it, they would definitely be rich. The others had the same thought. Anyway, if the second coffin was opened, it wouldn't be the real corpse. Therefore, they wanted to do it. As long as they didn't open the third coffin, they shouldn't be in danger. The elders of the sacred land discussed and decided to open the second coffin. That was because the things inside were too tempting. Lin Xian and the others discussed and decided to do it. The Yi family, the Gu family, and the others also wanted to do it. Bang, bang. However, before they could do it, the second coffin began to tremble as if it was about to open again. Damn it, what happened? Why did it open automatically? Was it really going to come back to life? Heavens, that's impossible. That was just a legend. How could a dead person come back to life? Moreover, it seemed that he had definitely been dead for tens of thousands of years. Look at the runes on it. We don't recognize them at all. This corpse is at least 80,000 years old. Everyone swallowed their saliva, but this time they didn't retreat too much. That was because they knew that even if the second coffin was opened, it wouldn't be a corpse. Boom, boom. Not long after, the second coffin began to tremble more and slowly opened. Chapter 2575. The second coffin trembled more and more as it slowly opened. Rumble, 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 rumble. A deep sound rang out, accompanied by a heavy aura. Immediately after, the sky was filled with green light. Everyone felt refreshed. The injuries and energy that they had consumed had recovered in an instant. Heaven's treasure! My injuries are completely healed. What a pleasant expression. Ha ha! Great! They had thought that they would need to rest for a few years to recover, but they had recovered in an instant. Damn it, it's a green light. It's just a ray of light, and it's enough to heal us. This is definitely a heaven-defying treasure. At this moment, everyone's eyes turned red. They had all gone crazy and rushed forward. Everyone finally arrived at the front and saw the situation inside clearly. After the second coffin opened, a third coffin appeared. The third coffin was dark purple and about 7 meters long. The runes on it were even more profound. One would be lost in it with just a glance. Everyone hurriedly cut off their souls, not daring to pay too much attention to it. They were afraid that their souls would be destroyed if they looked at it any longer. How terrifying! Lin Xian's heart trembled. Even with the heavenly secret god eyes and the great dragon sword spirit, he still did not dare to look too much, because the runes on it were too terrifying. If they were carved by someone, a single rune would be enough to kill everyone here. The power of a sage. This is definitely the power of a sage. For the first time, Lin Xian felt how terrifying a sage was. This was a completely different realm from a king. He estimated that the source of power used by both sides was different. Everyone was careful, not daring to look at the purple coffin. They looked at the space beside them and saw that there were many leaves in there. Each leaf was incomparably green and crystal clear. Although tens of thousands of years had passed, they still emitted a powerful vitality. The tree of immortality. These are the leaves of the tree of immortality. Heavens, does such a tree really exist? Someone exclaimed, and the others screamed when they heard that. The tree of immortality was a very magical tree in the true spirit world, known as the divine tree. No one knew when it had grown, nor did they know how many tens of thousands of years it had lived. They only knew that it seemed to be immortal and indestructible. The tree of immortality had already become a spirit and would not appear in the world. Even if they did appear, they would only exist in various peerless forbidden grounds. Therefore, it was very difficult to obtain its leaves. However, its leaves were extremely mysterious. It contained a powerful vitality. It was said that as long as a single leaf was not destroyed, it could allow a dying person to recover instantly. This effect was like having a second life. Moreover, it was said that it was also effective against invincible kings. Back then, the saints had even fought for it. One could imagine how precious the tree of immortality was. Such a treasure was enough to make everyone's eyes red with envy. Attack! Someone roared. Suddenly, a powerful aura burst out and swept through the world. A terrifying light shone in all directions. At that instant, their alliance was shattered. The tree of immortality is ours. Bright laughter rang out. Then, countless sword lights crisscrossed the world. Swords of light were inserted into the void. These light swords joined together to form an extremely terrifying sword formation. Dian sword formation. Get lost! With a thunderous roar, a palm shot out, blotting out the sky. It was as if an ancient demonic statue had descended from the sky. It crashed into the sword formation. The two sides erupted with incomparable power. Terrifying cracks extended in all directions. The four symbols' holy suns made their move. Buzz. Between heaven and earth, countless chaotic chi flickered, hanging upside down like a waterfall. The saintess of all beginnings made her move. The saint of all beginnings was not to be outdone. His body flickered with chaotic light like a sun as he charged over. Kill. The Tao, Yi Holy Sun, Yi Wu Dao, Wu Hua, and the others also made their moves. Lin Xian also made his move. In the face of such a treasure, it was impossible for him not to be tempted. Next to him, Shan Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing also led the elders of the two sacred lands to attack quickly. For a moment, a chaotic battle broke out. Fortunately, this was the ancient tomb of a saint, and the coffin was also a saint's, so it was not damaged. Lin Xian shouted coldly. The snow-white little monkey jumped out and manipulated the shabby, small bowl to retrieve the items from the void. However, Those immortal leaves were in the saint's coffin and could not be retrieved from the void. The power of the saint isolated everything. This made the snow-white little fox scratch its ears and cheeks in anger. However, it still found an opportunity, because the battle between the dying saint and the four symbols' holy sons was very fierce. In the end, they sent 2 leaves flying. Buzz. The 2 leaves floated in the sky, shuttling back and forth among the countless rays of light. Ha 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 ha! It's mine! The four symbols' holy son stretched out his large palm. Every finger was as sharp as a dragon and carried with it a supreme divine power. He grabbed the 2 leaves. Don't even think about it. The dying saint sneered. Sword light erupted from his body, and the dying sword formation was even more arrogant. The 2 of them fought very fiercely. However, at this moment, a light flashed in the sky, and the 2 leaves disappeared into thin air. Damn it! Who dares to snatch our treasures? The four symbols' holy son was furious. His roar shook the 9 heavens. The dying saint's eyes were like swords that swept in all directions. At this moment, the 2 holy sons were really angry. The surrounding people who were fighting for the treasures were so scared that they all retreated. Even some of the elders felt their scalps go numb. Oh, oh, oh. The snow-white little monkey kept jumping. It came in front of Lin Xian, raised the shabby small bowl, and grinned. Lin Xian was even more delighted. He was a little disappointed that the snow-white little monkey could not retrieve the items from the saint's coffin. However, he did not expect it to work this way. As long as the undying tree leaves left the saint's coffin, the snow-white little monkey would be able to snatch them. As expected, the first 2 undying tree leaves were obtained by him. Damn it! It's him! It's that damn monkey! The dying saint and the four symbols' holy son were extremely powerful. They instantly captured the snow-white little monkey. When they saw the snow-white little monkey give the 2 leaves to Lin Xian, the 2 holy sons' eyes instantly turned red. Damn it, this is too much. Kill that kid. The 2 holy sons roared and charged over. Boom. An earth-shattering sound was heard. The void beside the 2 holy sons cracked open, and a black hole directly swallowed the 2 of them. Space-shattering fist. Xing Tian retracted his fist, and a terrifying aura was emitted from his body. If you dare to attack the young master, you'll have to get through me first. Holy Son, no. The people of the 4 symbols and Dian's sacred grounds screamed crazily. They saw their holy sons being swallowed by the black hole and disappearing. How could they tolerate this? Damn it. Kill him. Kill the people of the immortal palace. The people of the 2 holy lands attacked crazily. Damn kid, I'm going to kill you. An elder of the 4 symbols' holy lands instantly appeared near Lin Xian. Chapter 2576. The elder's hair was white, and his figure was stooped, making him look extremely old. However, in an instant, an unparalleled power erupted from his turbid eyes. His short and small body also abruptly expanded. Boom. In the end, the elder had transformed into a white-haired war god. His eyes looked disdainfully as the aura on his body crushed the void. Boom. For Symbol's sacred fist, the old man waved his fist, not holding back at all. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly and fought back. The terrifying power of the 5 elements flickered on his fist. Using his fist as a sword, he smashed through the void. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 collided, causing heaven and earth to collapse. With the 2 of them as the center, a terrifying wave was formed and spread towards the surroundings. Puff. Beside them, many people were sent flying, coughing up blood. The 4 symbols' sacred ground elder's expression changed as well. His ruddy face instantly turned pale as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His entire arm was also deformed instantly. Crack, crack, crack. A crisp sound was heard as the four symbols' sacred ground elder's arm was directly broken. Ah! He screamed miserably as he retreated continuously, trampling on the void. Damn it. How is this possible? How could his strength be stronger than mine? The elder was extremely shocked and did not dare to believe it. He was a peerless almighty and an elite of the four symbols' sacred ground. The four symbols' sacred ground was known for its boundless strength and powerful defense. However, he was now being suppressed in terms of strength. His arm was even shattered by a single punch. He could not believe it at all. Kill. With a furious roar, his broken arm instantly recovered. The elder's white hair fluttered as he charged forward again like a god of death. After an intense battle, the four symbols' Holy Land's elder's body was completely destroyed, apart from his head that was still intact. In fact, his body was shattered 3 times. The four symbols' sacred ground elder roared at the sky as his shattered body was reassembled. However, the aura on his body was much weaker than before. Buzz. The elder turned and fled, no longer lingering in the battle. Humph! Trying to escape? Lin Xian sneered as he executed the demigods and quickly chased after him. The other party came to kill him, and he fled because he could not kill him? How could it be so simple? He wanted to let everyone know that Lin Xian, was not someone who could be killed by just anyone. Wong. In the sky, countless sharp sword lights flew out. The terrifying light flashed and shattered the world. This scene caused many people to turn their heads. They were scared out of their wits when they saw the scene in the distance. Heavens, what am I seeing? That brat was actually chasing after an elder? That was too scary. The four symbols' Holy Lands really did not learn from their mistakes. He actually dared to fight with Lin Xian. Discussions rang out as the people from the four symbols' sacred grounds roared like they had gone mad. Damned brat! Stop! You dare to hurt my elder? I'm not done with you. Roars rang out one after another, but Lin Xian remained unmoved. Boom! Boom! In the end, the elder from the four symbols' sacred ground was mercilessly killed, never to be revived. Damn it, I'll fight it out with you. Many experts from the four symbols' holy grounds charged forward. Roar! Lin Xian directly brandished his dragon-shaped sword Qi, sweeping out in all directions. Those experts were sent flying, their faces full of horror. Wong! Killing intent surged wildly from their bodies. Damned brat! My four symbols' sacred grounds will not play with you. Humph! I'll accompany you anytime. Lin Xian's voice was cold. But if you want to kill me, you have to be prepared to be killed. No matter who you are, whether you are a saint or an elder, I won't let you off. At the end, sword Qi surged from Lin Xian's body. A terrifying sword light was like a divine sword that reached the heavens, shining until people could not open their eyes. Hearing this voice and feeling this sword Qi, many people trembled. Lin Xian's gaze turned, staring at the people from the Dayan's sacred ground. You guys want to attack me too? Humph! Brat, you're too arrogant. An elder from the Dayan's sacred ground stood out. He carried 3 treasure swords on his back, terrifying sword light flickering on his body continuously. His Dayan's sacred ground was also a peerless sacred ground. How could he lower his head to a brat? Although the other party was very powerful, he was more confident in his Dayan sword technique. Moreover, he was an elder who had lived for nearly 2,000 years. He did not believe that he would lose to a brat. Whoosh! The elder from the Dayan's sacred ground waved his hand, and the 3 treasure swords on his back flew out and waved in front of him. Rays of dazzling sword light descended from the sky like the Milky Way, slicing through the void. Ka ka ka. Lin Xian pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and quickly met the attack. The ancient dragon abyss sword enlarged and became a giant sword. It danced in the sky, annihilating all the incoming sword light. Since you want to fight, don't blame me for not being polite. The great dragon sword soul roared, and the 4 seals on the ancient dragon abyss sword were released, flickering with incomparable light. Rays of sword chi slashed down, instantly blasting the Dian sword formation. The 3 treasure swords trembled in the sky and flew out. There were even cracks on them. No way! So powerful! These people were dumbfounded. The people from the Dian's sacred ground were so frightened that their scalps went numb. This elder of theirs was extremely terrifying. The 3 treasure swords on his back were also very famous. But now, this elder was forced to retreat, and there were cracks on the 3 treasure swords. Is this brat still human? Why do I feel like he's going to defy the heavens? There was no need to think about it. He had already entered the ranks of the top saints. In a one-on-one fight, other than Yi Wudao and the others, no one was a match for him. Those elders were no match for him either, unless they ganged up on him. Indeed, ordinary elders were no match for Lin Xian in a one-on-one fight. Therefore, the Dian's sacred ground shamelessly sent out another elder. On the 4 symbols' sacred ground side, another elder flew out. 3 elders against Lin Xian. F*CK. This is going to be a big game, seeing the 3 elders standing in the void and crushing the world. The surrounding people trembled. That brat is going to be in danger. Indeed, no one could beat him in a one-on-one fight, but there was no suspense in a 3-on-1 fight. Brat, your people have been restrained. Let's see who can save you this time. In the 4 symbols' sacred ground, a middle-aged man gritted his teeth. The 2 elders of the Dian's sacred ground were even more murderous. Indeed, Xing Tian, Elder Li the Crimson Dragon, and the others were fighting with others. They were fighting for the undying leaf. Now, there was no one around Lin Xian who could help him. Is that so? The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. With a wave of his hand, a blood-red figure appeared beside him. Seeing this figure, the elders' eyelids twitched wildly, and their faces instantly turned ugly. Blood-robed Bat King. Damn it, how could they forget about this? This blood-robed Bat King was extremely terrifying. It could definitely restrain one of them. As for the remaining 2, would they still have a 100% chance of winning if they fought each other? They did not know. The 3 of them were already the most people they could send out to support Lin Mingya. If they sent more people over, they would be at a disadvantage in the other battles. They were discussing and predicting their chances of winning. Suddenly, they screamed. Chapter 2577. That was because they discovered that after the Bloodwing Bat King, there were dozens of black bugs beside Lin Xian. One by one, they crawled in the air. Their pitch-black bodies flickered with a metallic light. Damn it, it's those bugs. He can control those bugs. The 3 elders were so scared that their faces turned pale and their bodies began to tremble. The people in the distance also cried out in alarm. This was the 3rd time they had seen Lin Xian use those black bugs. If the first 2 times were a coincidence, what about the 3rd time? The other party must have mastered some kind of method to directly control those bugs. Thinking of this, they were extremely terrified. Those bugs were not any weaker than the Bloodwing Bat King. Come, have a taste of the gifts I've prepared for you. Lin Xian grinned. The 3 elders, however, turned around and fled. What a joke. They were confident in fighting 3 against 1. Now that the other party had taken out 2 trump cards, they could not win at all. 3 streaks of red light streaked across the sky and fled into the distance. How could Lin Xian let them go? With a wave of his hand, the black bugs and the Bloodwing Bat King quickly charged over. He even used the demigods and semi-devils to fly rapidly in the sky. Boom, boom, ah. In the end, the three elders let out miserable screams and angry roars. A great battle broke out. The three elders knew that they could not escape, so they did not hold back at all. They exerted their combat strength to the limit. At the same time, they threw out all kinds of trump cards without any regard for their lives. But in the end, they were still killed. There was no other way. Whether it was Lin Xian, the Black Bugs, or the Bloodwing Bat King, they were all very terrifying. They were not people they could fight against at all. 3 streaks of blood mist exploded and spread in all directions, turning into a sea of blood that surged in the sky. It dyed a corner of the sky red. Everyone was stunned. No one dared to go up and find trouble with Lin Xian. Lin Xian waved his hand and controlled the Bloodwing Bat King and the black bugs that filled the sky to quickly charge over. He wanted to use these 2 trump cards to snatch the leaf of immortality. Get lost! Kill! For a moment, countless angry roars came from below, and terrifying energy surged. In the end, Lin Xian also joined the battle. The battle lasted for a long time. 2 figures broke through space and flew back. They were the 4 symbols Holy Sun and the Grand Evolution Holy Sun. Their expressions turned gloomy. When they found out what had happened earlier, the 2 of them were completely enraged. They charged downwards in search of Lin Xian and prepared to take revenge. What kind of joke was this? An elder of their holy land had been killed in front of everyone. They had to take revenge. Wang. A large palm stretched across the sky, completely enveloping the space where Lin Xian was. Damn it! The people around Lin Xian were also furious. This palm didn't just envelop Lin Xian, it also enveloped them. Lin Xian turned his head and looked at the sky, a cold glint in his eyes. Acting recklessly, he thrust out his sword and collided with the sky-covering giant hand. Wang! Suddenly, the Grand Evolution Saint appeared behind Lin Xian, and the Grand Evolution Sacred Sword in his hand slashed out quickly. Bang! Lin Xian didn't dodge, and he pushed out his left hand. It was as if an azure dragon had collided with the Grand Evolution Sacred Sword, and a sonorous sound was heard. Whoa! At the same time, a golden light appeared in his eyes, and he looked at the Grand Evolution Saint. The Grand Evolution Saint screamed, and the sword chi on his body exploded to defend himself. He was pushed back, and his face was extremely pale. In the sky, the 4 symbols saint saw this scene and quickly defended himself with his soul. In an instant, everyone retreated a great distance. Damn it, this brat used his soul attack again. Seeing the fear in everyone's eyes, Lin Xian sneered. He didn't attack again, but took out a bronze bell and shook it in the sky. Ding, ding, dang. The terrifying sound waves spread in all directions, and the surrounding people were sent flying while vomiting blood. Damn it! The Grand Evolution Saint and the 4 symbols saints' faces changed instantly. Flower Protector. This brat took it out again. Damn it! The treasures that Lin Xian had obtained in this ancient tomb were too powerful. They could only use their trump cards to defend themselves. However, it was impossible for them to attack Lin Xian. In the end, the 4 symbols saint and the Grand Evolution Saint gave up. This was because they couldn't do anything to Lin Xian, even if they joined forces. Moreover, even if they fought until the end, both sides would be injured. It wasn't worth it at all. Therefore, the 2 of them didn't attack Lin Xian, and instead joined the fight. While Lin Xian was fighting, the Bloodwing Bat King and the Black Bug didn't stop. Among them, the Black Bug wrapped around 3 leaves, forming a big black ball that flew quickly in the sky. Countless attacks landed on their bodies, creating sonorous sounds and sparks as they pierced through the void. However, The bug was refined from dark night black gold, which was equivalent to a heaven-grade artifact. For a moment, no one could break it, and they could only watch as Lin Xian left with the 3 leaves. On the other side, the Bloodwing Bat King also snatched 2 leaves. It directly activated its blood-sucking ability, scaring the surrounding people into retreating frantically. It also successfully brought back 2 leaves. Xing Tian, Elderly, and the others all obtained some. On the other side, the Yi family, Gu family, Wavering Light Sacred Land, and Lanhua Temple also did the same. Morong Qingcheng and Shinjingqiu also gained a lot. In the end, more than 100 leaves were completely divided among these sacred lands and sections. Of course, everyone received more and less. For example, Lin Xian, the Yi family, and the Gu family, who were more powerful, naturally received more. Lin Xian's side had obtained 12 leaves, which was considered the most. After all, there were only a total of more than 100 leaves. There were dozens of sacred lands, so it wasn't enough to share. 12 leaves was already very heaven-defying. Sure enough, many people looked at Immortal Palace from time to time. It seemed that they were very jealous. However, no one dared to make a move rashly. After obtaining the leaves, these people quickly retreated, formed their own groups, and sat down cross-legged. Array formations flickered, one after another. The previous battle was very intense, and many people had died. Even more people were seriously injured. At this moment, they naturally wanted to recover. All kinds of heavenly treasures, spirit pills, and miraculous medicines were swallowed without any regard for their lives. These people's bodies were overflowing with light. Lin Xian and the others didn't suffer much injuries, so at this moment, he was counting the spoils of war. Moreover, his eyes flickered as he stared into the distance. The undying leaf was gone, but the purple coffin was still there, flickering mysteriously. There were 3 layers of immortal suppression coffins. The 3rd layer of coffins should contain the bodies of the saints. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He had a sage's hand bone in his hand. Just a small section of the hand bone was so terrifying that it made people tremble, not to mention the entire corpse. If it appeared, it could probably kill all of them. Therefore, everyone was very conscious and didn't have any ideas about the 3rd coffin at all. They decided to quickly leave after recuperating. Bang, bang. Suddenly, a low sound rang out again, echoing in the entire space. Chapter 2578. The cultivators who were meditating and recovering from their injuries suddenly opened their eyes. Fear appeared in their eyes. They quickly stood up and looked around in bewilderment. Damn it, what's that sound? Many people trembled and pointed in front of them. They almost knelt on the ground. The purple coffin moved. It moved. The sound came from inside. What? The 3rd coffin! The expressions of the elders and saints changed. Lin Xian's pupils also constricted. He also saw that the purple coffin had jumped just now. Moreover, the sound came from inside the purple coffin. The 3rd coffin is the corpse of a saint. Could it be that the corpse of a saint has changed? Don't joke around. If the corpse of a saint is resurrected, we're all finished. Let's go. Let's go. Those people felt their scalps go numb. They did not care about their injuries and retreated one after another. Whoosh, whoosh. However, at that moment, a strange sound was heard again. It sounded like someone was breathing. The sound rang clearly in their ears, and many of them were so scared that they wet their pants. The elders also turned their heads abruptly. Their faces were pale. A sharp light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. It even formed a pair of golden eyes above his head. He looked down at the ground. Where did that sound come from? What a trick! Cold shouts could be heard. Lin Xian's gaze was fixed on the purple coffin. The sound of breathing came from inside the coffin. He said in a deep voice, "What? The sound of breathing came from inside the coffin? Kid, don't joke around." "That's right. Although your eye technique is powerful, you can't scare us like that." The young disciples were about to cry. "What kind of joke is this?" "That's the corpse of a saint. If the corpse of a saint can breathe, could it be that it's coming back to life?" Xing Tian, elderly, and the others looked serious. The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. "Kid, are you sure you're not mistaken?" Brother Xian, Murong Qingcheng, and Shinjingqiu also looked over. Countless gazes gathered on Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded. "I can't be mistaken. The breathing is coming from inside." Everyone felt as if they had been struck by lightning. Many of them immediately knelt on the ground. The elders of the Yi family and the Gu family also turned pale. Palace Master Lin is right. We also sensed it. It can't be, right? Everyone's hearts went cold, and their faces turned pale. This corpse was tens of thousands of years old. How could it still be breathing? Breathing meant that he was alive, a sage who had lived for tens of thousands of years. If this news were to spread, it would probably shock the entire world. This was impossible. The elders shook their heads frantically. Even a great emperor couldn't live that long, let alone a saint. But what's with that breathing sound? The people of the Jade Lake, sacred ground, were also puzzled. The elder of the Wavering Light Holy Land said, "Don't panic. It might not be what we think. After all, the saint's tomb was special. Just because there were breathing sounds didn't mean that the saint was still alive." That was indeed the case. Hearing this speculation, many people's expressions eased, and they all breathed a sigh of relief. As soon as he finished speaking, the people of the Wavering Light Holy Land regretted it. Their faces even turned green. Not only them, but everyone was also stunned. Lin Xian and the others also looked incomparably solemn. The young martial artists were so scared that they wet their pants. That was because the third purple coffin in front of them was making cracking sounds. And then it slowly opened. That was not all. Inside the coffin, a figure slowly rose. It was like an elevator, rising from the bottom of the coffin to the top. This made it so that everyone could see it without getting too close. There was indeed a corpse. On the purple jade platform, there was a figure lying on it. Around the corpse, there was a small stream of crystal-clear water droplets flowing in all directions. The water didn't flow outside, but all of it fell from the jade platform into the purple coffin. At this moment, everyone's injured bodies recovered in an instant. The effect was even more terrifying than the undying leaves from before. Heavens, what are these water droplets? It must be a supreme treasure for recovery and healing. Everyone was overjoyed. Those from the sacred grounds who didn't get too many undying leaves before were even more envious. Of course, they were only envious. No one dared to go forward. In fact, they kept retreating. The spring of life, it was the spring of life. The spring of life that was rumored to be able to bring bones back to life. Everyone went crazy. The elders of the Yi family and Gu family were also breathing rapidly. Even Xing Tian, elderly, and the others were trembling with excitement. Lin Xian had also heard of this name, but he had only seen it in ancient books. He didn't expect to see it in real life. At the side, the Crimson Dragon's face was ugly. Damn it, what was the sage trying to do? First, there were so many divine crystals than the undying leaves, and now the spring of life. All of these were treasures that contained powerful vitality, coupled with the legendary triple immortal suppression coffin. Could it be that this sage was really trying to revive? As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. It couldn't be. Could it really be possible for someone to come back from the dead? Other than being turned into a puppet or a zombie, they had never seen anyone who could come back from the dead. Puppets and zombies were still beyond the normal resurrection process. They couldn't be considered resurrection at all. Huff, huff, just as the crowd was discussing spiritedly, the sound of breathing was heard once again. This time around, the crowd was able to hear it clearly. It was coming from the corpse lying before them. Everyone's scalps went numb, and a chill rose from the bottom of their hearts. They couldn't see the corpse clearly because the corpse was wearing armor. The armor covered the corpse's entire body. Only a pair of eyes were exposed, but they were still closed. It must be said that when they saw the armor, the crowd exclaimed in surprise. That was because the armor was too exquisite. It was more exquisite than any armor they had ever seen. There were streamlines on it, as if it was a supreme treasure of heaven and earth. Runes and Tao runes interweaved with each other, forming an exquisite pattern that covered the armor. It's really good stuff. If we can get this thing back, who in the world will be our match? Just as everyone was panicking, a cold voice sounded. Then 5 or 6 figures rushed forward like ghosts. Who's that? Are they tired of living? Lin Xian was surprised. The others also exclaimed in surprise. Their eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. Damn it, they're from the Chasing Corpse sect. Oh no, what are they trying to do? The elders of the Yi family and the Goof family exclaimed in surprise. The others also came back to their senses. Is the Chasing Corpse sect from that ancient sacred ground in Nanjiang? They're here too. Damn it, could it be that they were hiding before this? No one had seen them before. They thought that the other party must have been in disguise. Now that they saw the saint's corpse, did the Chasing Corpse sect finally lose their patience? The Chasing Corpse sect was a sacred ground in Nanjiang. It was very ancient and mysterious. That sect was very special. Their main method of attack was to use corpses and control corpses. In their view, corpses were their weapons, their source of strength. And those people from the Chasing Corpse sect did it. They refined corpses. The Dharma treasures they formed were very terrifying and powerful. However, they didn't expect those people from the Chasing Corpse sect to be so bold as to set their eyes on the saint's corpse. Could it be that they had a way to obtain the saint's corpse? What a joke. Everyone could not believe it. Was the saint's corpse something that could be obtained just like that? Even an invincible king would not dare to do it, right? Chapter 2579. Everyone's scalps went numb as they retreated crazily. The 6 elders of the Chasing Corpse sect still arrived near the corpse. The 6 of them stood in 6 directions and quickly formed seals with their palms. Terrifying black holes appeared one after another. In front of them, 6 corpses appeared. Whoosh! The 6 zombies opened their bloody mouths and spat out 6 black rays of light that intertwined in the sky. They formed a large black net that enveloped the area below. It covered the corpse of the saint, including the purple coffin. It enveloped everything and wanted to take it away. Could it be that this was the legendary Hell's magic net? It could see everything in the world. An elder of the Thousand Calamity sect said, "Now that you mention it, I remember that the Chasing Corpse sect does have such a treasure. I didn't expect them to bring it." The elders of the other sacred grounds also turned pale. Damn it, they couldn't have succeeded, right? Many people became nervous, and their eyes turned red. Although the 3rd coffin was dangerous, it was the corpse of a saint. If they brought it back, they would definitely make a fortune. The saint's body was full of treasures. A wisp of saints' might could destroy the world. If they could obtain the saint's corpse, it would be equivalent to a huge treasure vault. Moreover, the saint was wearing a set of armor. It was probably a saint's artifact. Not to mention the saint's corpse, just the spring of life in the 3rd coffin was enough to make them jealous. This was the spring of life that could revive bones and had a strong vitality. It was very rare and could not be seen outside. He. It's us. The 6 elders of the Chasing Corpse sect had ferocious expressions as their eyes emitted a dark green light. The Hell's magic net carefully enveloped the saint's corpse and the purple coffin. Damn it, hurry up and attack. Finally, someone could not help but roar. They naturally wanted a share of the loot. However, Lin Xian's pupils constricted as he quickly waved his hand and said, "Let's go." At the same time, the dragon sword's spiritual domain enveloped everyone. Pung! Just as he finished doing this, an earth-shattering sound was heard. Between heaven and earth, countless rays of light shone, as if they were the light of destruction. A black hole was drawn in the sky, and it directly shattered. The 6 elders of the Chasing Corpse sect and the 6 zombies were all enveloped. A miserable voice sounded, causing everyone's scalps to go numb. Quick, defend! The people from the Holy Lands and major sects were so frightened that they hurriedly used their trump cards to defend themselves. The terrifying fluctuations came and went quickly. In an instant, he disappeared. Everyone thought that they were dreaming. However, the shattered spell formation around them and the shattered armor on their bodies indicated that the spiritual power fluctuations they had sensed just now had indeed existed. Lin Xian also withdrew the dragon sword domain, and they looked forward. Then he drew in a breath of cold air. Up ahead, the people of the Chasing Corpse sect had already disappeared without a trace. Not even a drop of blood was left behind. Not only the 6 elders of the Chasing Corpse sect, but their 6 zombies had also disappeared. Even that terrifying treasure, the Hell Weave, had disappeared. What? Everyone was shocked. Was this the power of a saint? This was too terrifying. In an instant, it could kill a peerless expert. However, this was not what frightened them the most. What terrified them the most was that the corpse in front of them was actually sitting up. That's right, he did sit up. His upper body was upright as he sat on the purple jade platform. Damn it, what's going on? Could it be that the sage had been resurrected? Everyone trembled. F***CK. Chasing Corpse sect. I'll remember you. If I can return alive, I'll kill every member of the Chasing Corpse sect I meet in the future. Many people went crazy. It was all because of the damn Chasing Corpse sect that they had to make a move. If they didn't make a move, the sage's corpse definitely wouldn't have changed, and it wouldn't have sat up like now. Who knew if the other party would have survived? Because they should be able to feel that the sage was indeed breathing. A corpse was breathing. This made them think that the sage in front of them shouldn't be dead. It was as if he had fallen into a deep sleep. I've encountered such a situation before. If a person is sealed in a divine crystal or the spring of life, they can indeed be preserved for tens of thousands of years without dying. However, in that case, the amount of divine crystals and the spring of life required was extremely large to an unimaginable extent. On top of that, only martial monarchs or supreme saints were able to do it. Could it be that the sage in front of them was like that? When these words were said, everyone was shocked. Those elders all had terrified expressions on their faces. They had naturally heard of this possibility. That was because in the past, a powerful seeker spirit master had once cut open the stone transported out of the primordium ancient mine. At that time, they cut out such a thing. That stone was very large, dozens of meters tall. In the end, a divine crystal that was more than 10 meters tall was cut out. That divine crystal was incomparably resplendent. However, what was terrifying was that there was actually something sealed in the divine crystal, a monster beast. In the end, it was jointly taken away by the people of several remote antiquity families. Moreover, this matter was quickly suppressed and only became a legend. However, it was spread among the various sacred grounds. At this moment, when they saw the strange thing in front of them, they naturally recalled the previous legend. However, The people of the Gu family frowned. That shouldn't be. The corpse was clearly not sealed. Although it was soaked in the spring of life, it was completely different from being directly sealed by the spring of life. If it wasn't sealed, it couldn't have survived for tens of thousands of years in the spring of life. Moreover, if it wasn't dead, why would it spend so much effort to build an ancient tomb? Why was that? Everyone was puzzled. Lin, Xian, Crimson Dragon, and the others also frowned, but Elder Li's body was trembling slightly. Not only him, but Elder Lu, Elder Wang, and the other two were also feeling the same. Xing Tian also had a look of horror, as if he had seen a ghost. Xing Tian, Elder Li, what did you find? Lin Xian asked in a deep voice. He found that the expressions of these elders were not right. Meanwhile, Elder Li, Xing Tian, and the others were staring ahead intently. No way. How could it be? How could it be that thing? Not to mention Lin Xian and the others, Peacock, Hu Yidao, and the young martial artists of the Immortal Palace were also puzzled. At this moment, the elders of the surrounding sacred grounds also looked over. Fellow cultivator, what did you find? The elder of the Jade Lake sacred ground asked in confusion. This Elder Li and the others did not say anything. They discussed with each other. Xing Tian sighed. Forget it, we can't hide it. Sooner or later, we will find out. This matter is already beyond our control. Hurry up and call for help. What's going on? As soon as he said that, everyone around was shocked. Lin Xian was even more puzzled. Elder Li took a deep breath. He also knew that this matter could not be hidden, so he said in a deep voice, Chapter 2580. Elder Li took a deep breath. He also knew that this matter could not be hidden, so he spoke in a deep voice. The Yuhua Immortal Robe. What? The Yuhua Immortal Robe. As soon as these words came out, the eyelids of the elders of the Yi family, Yao Wang's sacred land, and Gu family twitched fiercely. Their eyes erupted with an incomparable light, and the aura on their bodies swept through the 9 heavens. In the next moment, they stared intently at the corpse of the saint who was sitting up in front of them. To be precise, it was the clothes on the corpse of the saint. Could it be that this was the legendary Yuhua Immortal Robe? Heavens, it can't be. Isn't that a legend? Could it really exist? These elders were stunned. Those young disciples were very puzzled. Elder, what is the Yuhua Immortal Robe? Yes, is it very precious? Is it a saint's treasure? They had never seen their elder so agitated. It should be a saint's treasure. However, the elders of the various sacred lands shook their heads. The Yuhua Immortal Robe had probably surpassed the saint's treasure. It was a supreme treasure between heaven and earth, and it was very magical. Rumor had it that wearing the Yuhua Immortal Robe could bring the dead back to life. One could even live forever. What? Bring the dead back to life? Immortality? At this moment, those young disciples were all stunned. Their breathing became rapid, and their eyes were red. They also stared intently at the figure in front of them. However, Yi Wudao Wu Hua, the Prince of Great Xia, and the others frowned. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Immortality? Bring the dead back to life? How was this possible? Didn't they say that even great emperors couldn't escape death? If they didn't become immortals, they would eventually become a pile of dust? This was also the reason why everyone was so obsessed with becoming an immortal, because only by becoming an immortal could one have eternal life and immortality. But now, these elders were telling them that a Yuhua Immortal Robe could allow one to live forever. This directly impacted their understanding. If there was such a treasure, how could it be in the hands of a saint? It must have been taken away by the great emperors. No, the Yuhua Immortal Robe was very magical. It had not appeared for hundreds of thousands of years or even longer. It only existed in extremely ancient legends. We even thought that it was impossible for the Yuhua immortal robe to exist, but we didn't expect it to appear again now. Everyone was shocked. However, there were also people who were doubtful. That might not be the case. Perhaps not even Immortal Palace's people could be sure that this was Feather Immortal. That's right. The others were also puzzled. Wasn't this corpse breathing before? We suspect that it was sealed by the divine crystal and the spring of life, and that's why it survived until now. From the looks of it, that might not be the case. This saint might really be dead. However, he wore the Yuhua immortal robe and lived through countless years. What? The dead had come back to life. Everyone felt as if they were listening to a legend. Could it really be the effect of the Yuhua immortal robe? Everyone was shocked. But then again, how could a corpse breathe? If the legend of the Yuhua immortal robe was added, then everything could be explained. Thinking of this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Many people were going crazy. They didn't expect that they would actually encounter the legendary Yuhua immortal robe. This was a blessing accumulated from several lifetimes. The feather immortal E had disappeared for over 100,000 years. Even some martial monarchs had never seen him before. But now, they actually saw it. Boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Then, the void cracked open, and heaven and earth lost their color. Rolling death chi filled the air, and an incomparably terrifying black palm pierced through heaven and earth like a demonic mountain, shattering the void. It shrouded downward. As soon as the black palm appeared, many people directly fell to the ground, and even more people vomited blood and flew out. Their faces were full of horror. The elders and saints of the various sacred grounds also felt their scalps go numb, and they quickly retreated. Lin Xian and the others also retreated rapidly. Elderly instantly summoned the bean soldiers, and countless puppets completely surrounded Lin Xian and the others. Damn it, it's an invincible king. An invincible king has appeared, an old man exclaimed, and with a bang, his body split open and turned into a bloody mist. Seeing this scene, everyone screamed. That was a peerless, mighty figure, but he was actually shattered by the aftermath of the energy. One could imagine that it was definitely an extremely heaven-defying energy. In addition to the previous voice, they believed that an invincible king had really appeared. Was it the guardian of the ancient tomb? Everyone immediately thought of this possibility, because there was a woman in white next to him. However, they soon realized that was not the case. Although this black palm carried a sky full of death chi, it was incomparably terrifying. However, it was not the guardian of the ancient tomb. It was someone from the Chasing Corpse sect. It was the invincible king of the Chasing Corpse sect who had made a move. The Yuhua immortal robe must belong to the Chasing Corpse sect. The huge palm smashed the surroundings, and countless black auras drooped down. It was like the demonic aura from hell, rolling over. It spread out in all directions, completely sealing the entire space. Damn it! Leaf Daudenia roared, and his golden chi and blood surged into the sky. A golden giant stood indomitable. The immortal king descends to the 9 heavens. This was his terrifying technique, and he wanted to destroy everything in all directions. However, this time, the boundless black aura completely suppressed the immortal king descends to the 9 heavens. Leaf Daudenier kept retreating, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. Damn it! Protect Daudenier! The elders of the Yi family roared angrily, and they all surrounded Leaf Daudenier to protect him. Leaf Daudenier was their Yi family's sacred physique, and they absolutely could not allow anything to happen to him. The Yi family's sacred physique was indeed worthy of its reputation. It could actually block a wisp of my aura. A cold voice sounded between heaven and earth. As soon as this voice came out, many people directly exploded. Those who were weak couldn't bear it at all. Even the elders, saints, and saintesses couldn't help but vomit blood. Lin Xian was also affected. He felt the qi and blood in his body churning, and his body seemed to be about to explode. It was terrifying. Was this the power of an invincible king? Lin Xian was shocked. Next to him, the Crimson Dragon, and the others were so angry that they roared again and again. Damn it, they actually brought an invincible king here. They were about to go crazy. The huge palm in the sky rumbled in all directions. It was like an ancient demonic mountain pressing down on everyone until they couldn't breathe. The invincible king didn't reveal his true body. Just a palm was enough to sweep in all directions. He injured Leaf Dowdenier with one palm, then stared at the Alcade Holy Sun. Boom! He waved his palm gently, and boundless black aura spread out, turning into a black dragon that rushed towards the Alcade Holy Sun. Not only that, but many black dragons appeared in the sky. In addition to the Alcade Holy Sun, they also rushed towards Lin Xian, the Grand Xia Prince Wu Hua, Morong Qingchen, Shinjingqiu Yenruyu, and the others. It could be said that all the top peerless geniuses were attacked by the black dragons. Chapter 2581. Not good. Damn it. Get lost. The saints roared as if they had gone mad. The dragon-patterned cauldron trembled as it grew larger in the sky. It was as if a mountain was crushing the void. On Wu Hua's side, a boundless Buddha phantom appeared on his body. It was very mysterious. The Grand Xia Prince's golden sword transformed into a golden dragon that roared in all directions. Yen Ryu's body emitted a green light. Morong Qingcheng waved his phoenix wing golden fan and sent out a phoenix phantom. Shun Jingqiu shouted as a boundless purple aura spread out from her body. It was very mysterious. It enveloped her completely. Lin Xian's expression was even more serious, as if he was facing a great enemy. He used all his strength to activate the great dragon sword soul, and a terrifying dragon roar sounded between heaven and earth. Then it turned into a dragon-shaped sword shadow and slashed forward. Pung, pung, pung. The other saints and saintesses attacked at the same time. Terrifying energy rolled between heaven and earth, causing the void to shatter completely. Pung, pung, pung. Puff. Figures retreated one after another as they spat out mouthfuls of blood, dyeing the sky red. At this moment, Lin Xian, Yen Ruyu, and the others were all injured. There was nothing they could do. Their opponent was an invincible king. Although it was just a light attack from an invincible king, it was not something they could resist. What top geniuses! That was all they could do. You want to climb the path of a great emperor? The invincible king of the Chasing Corpse sect said in a disdainful voice. The black palm was filled with killing intent. Damn it! You dare to attack us? The elders of the Yi and Gu families were furious. They did not expect the invincible king of the Chasing Corpse sect to be so crazy. He dared to attack all the top geniuses. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to kill all the top geniuses? They did not dare to imagine. The others were also terrified. The saints trembled. If Yi Wudao, the Grand Xia Prince, and the other top geniuses died here, there would be an earth-shattering shock in the outside world. Not to mention the other saints and saintesses. Just the death of Yi Wudao would probably cause the Yi family to go crazy. At that time, it was very likely that he would become a living fossil of the Yi clan, and he would wield an extreme weapon to sweep away the Chasing Corpse sect. Just thinking about this scene made one's scalp go numb. After all, once an extreme weapon appeared, it was no longer just the Chasing Corpse sect's problem. That was because its power was simply too terrifying. It could definitely cause endless territories to sink. This was definitely an earth-shattering catastrophe. Therefore, the crowd could not understand why the Chasing Corpse sect was so bold. Humph! If I kill all of you, the news won't spread, the invincible king of the Chasing Corpse sect said coldly. At the same time, a large black net floated above his head. Hell's demonic net. It was the treasure of the Chasing Corpse sect. Previously, everyone thought that the Hell's demonic net had shattered, but they didn't expect it to be taken away by this invincible king. Now that it was displayed again, it was truly terrifying. After all, the strength of an invincible king was much stronger than that of a peerless almighty. In addition to the Hell's demonic net, two more things appeared beside the invincible king of the Chasing Corpse sect. One was a black bead that looked like an eye. It was very strange. The other was a black demonic saber that emitted a strong aura of death. Obviously, the invincible king didn't dare to be careless in the face of the sage's corpse. He had to go all out. Whoosh. The others retreated crazily. In a battle of this level, just the aftermath of a wisp of energy was enough to kill them. Fortunately, their elders had already used their shocking trump cards to protect them. Otherwise, no one would have been able to survive. On the Immortal Palace's side, Lin Xian's face was pale. He swallowed a few drops of Earth Spirit liquid, and the bones in his body crackled. Previously, when he was resisting the aura of the invincible king, he was injured. Fortunately, he had many heaven and earth treasures in his hands, so he had already recovered. However, his expression was incomparably solemn. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.